The story begins with our protagonist, Zhang Chun, waking up in a puddle of water to the sound of a system notification welcoming him to the apocalyptic world. It informs him that the reincarnation game will start in 59 seconds. Confused, he wonders what's happening and feels a presence in front of him. Looking up, he sees a zombie right in front of him. Terrified, he questions what it is, and as he looks around, he sees his surroundings filled with zombies and destruction, which made him question where he is and what's going on. The system then notifies him that there are 50 seconds left until the game starts, and his goal in this apocalyptic world is to survive. The system begins gamification and world structuring, along with activating the auction transaction function. All of this confuses him even more, and he recalls that the city had a power outage, and he fell asleep early, so he wonders if he's having a nightmare. The system notifies him again that there are 48 seconds left until the game starts, and until then, the zombies are in a static state and cannot move or be eliminated. So he is advised to seize this opportunity to find a hiding place as soon as possible. After seeing all this, Zhang Chun concludes that this must be a dream, so he clenches his fist and punches himself to wake up. However, instead of waking up, he starts bleeding from his nose and feels pain, which made him realize that this is all real. As the system continues to count down, he becomes terrified and starts running, screaming for someone to help him because he doesn't want to die or be eaten by zombies. While he is running, the system informs him that this is Blue Star, where culture, technology, and everything else is similar to Earth, but the planet is 100 times the size of Earth. With 30 more seconds until the game starts, Zhang Chun keeps running, searching for a place to hide, but zombies are everywhere. The system informs him that this world is overrun by zombies and mutant creatures, advising him to eliminate them to collect energy, which will make him stronger. It also mentions that having a weapon would give him a greater advantage. Exhausted from running, Zhang Chun stops to catch his breath and questions how he ended up in this crazy game, as he hasn't done anything to deserve this kind of punishment. The system informs him that there are resource boxes scattered around the world, which can provide resources and have a chance of yielding good equipment. He then starts to gag and vomit, but since this is like a game, he is determined not to die so easily, as he is an expert in games. The system also informs him that everyone has a space ring, which they can use to store things, and energy can be used to increase the storage space. Annoyed, he asks the system if it can give him any useful hints. The system advises him to make use of his collect skill to quickly gather materials from zombies and mutant creatures. It also informs him that the current mutation rank is suppressed, and that the suppression ability decays every 30 days, so he is advised to prepare in advance. As time is running out, Zhang Chun looks around, trying to find something to defend himself against the zombies and mutant creatures. He then notices a zombie carrying a shield, and decides to take it. Believing he still has enough time, he rushes at the zombie and pulls the shield from it, and grabs a smoke grenade. Just as he starts to run away, the zombie headbutts him, which he blocks with the shield. However, the impact causes him to fall down. The sky then turns red, and the zombies start moving and screeching, which means that the game has begun. As the zombies rushes to attack him, the system states that the game has officially begun. While Zhang Chun blocks one zombie with the shield, more zombies rush toward him. He then quickly kicks the shield away, sending the zombie flying, while he pulls the pin from the smoke grenade and tosses it at the zombies. As they become engulfed in smoke, he seizes the chance to escape. While running, he notices a man being attacked by zombies, while two other men climb a tree and an electric pole to get away from the zombies. Seeing this, Zhang Chun believes these people must also have been teleported from Earth, and due to the sudden chaos, they didn't even have time to react. Determined not to end up like them, he plans to quickly find a safe place to hide. He eventually finds a restaurant where he plans to take shelter, but the system warns him that there are 27 zombies inside, so entering would only turn him into their food. Zhang Chun quickly stops, wondering why the system window has turned red. Just then, he notices two people running from zombies, deciding to hide in a supermarket. The system informs him that there are 6 zombies and some pure water inside the supermarket. If his body is agile and strong enough, he could fight the zombies with a weapon. Despite the danger, the two of them still went inside. Zhang Chun wonders if they didn't see the system notification, or they believe that they're strong enough to defeat 6 zombies. Just then, he hears screams coming from inside the building, meaning that they didn't know there were zombies inside the supermarket. Confused, Zhang Chen wonders if only he can see the system notifications, which could mean that this is his cheat ability. He then decides not to dwell on it and focuses on surviving. The system then informs him of a place with no zombies and a rank 1 resource box. Upon entering the building, he quickly closes the door and sits down, panting. He then opens the resource box and finds a bottle of mineral water, a fire axe, and a physical enhancement injection gun. The gun can make one's physical fitness reach an abnormally strong state. The system explains that the human physique is divided into 5 ranks: weak, ordinary, strong, abnormally strong, and peak of the human body's limit. Zhang Chen considers himself lucky for getting an excellent item and wonders how strong he will become if he uses it. He then injects his hand, causing his veins to bulge, and he feels immense pain as he screams. While he is gritting his teeth from pain, the system informs him that his physique needs to reach a strong state to evolve, with a 30% chance of success. If he fails to evolve, he will die. Zhang Chen curses the system for not warning him about the 30% chance beforehand, as he wouldn't have injected himself if he knew that. As he endures the pain, the zombies start banging on the door. Realizing he can't scream, as it will only lure more zombies, he bites his hand to stifle his screams and tries his best to hold on. Meanwhile, a guy and a girl are running from zombies, and just as the zombies are about to catch up, the guy unsheathes his sword and easily eliminates one of them. It is revealed that he has also taken the physique enhancement medicine and considers himself the lord of this area. His name is Wang Shuan, the first abnormally strong person in this area. Meanwhile, Zhang Chen stops feeling pain and quickly drinks water, shedding tears of joy for being alive. As he wipes his tears while sobbing, he hears someone screaming for help. This annoys him, and he questions who is trying to lure the zombies. As the screams continue, it turns out to be a woman who is standing on a ledge while zombies try to get to her through the window. Judging by the noise, Zhang Chen realizes there is more than one zombie. He quickly gears up with a shield and a fire axe and heads to the 2nd floor. The system informs him that there are 7 zombies upstairs that are attracted by the woman's screams, so he can take this opportunity to eliminate them by attacking from behind. Zhang Chen decided to take the risk and test out his abnormally strong physique's combat ability. Upon reaching the 2nd floor, Zhang Chen quickly begins attacking the zombies and tells the woman to stop screaming, as it will only lure more of them. While the woman begs him to save her, he deals with the remaining zombies and realizes that his strength and reaction speed have increased drastically. Seeing so much blood, the woman starts to scream again, which annoys Zhang Chen. He warns her to stop, or they will both die. Just then, a horde of zombies destroys the gate and rushes into the building. Zhang Chen quickly tells the woman to hold his hand and come inside. However, after seeing the horde of zombies, she refuses. With no other choice, Zhang Chen runs the other way, luring the zombies while the system navigates directions for him. As he turns right, he encounters more zombies, which he quickly begins attacking, dashes past them while eliminating as many as possible, and then pushes the last one out of the building. He then finds an elevator, but quickly realizes that it needs a VIP card to open. While he wonders what to do, a zombie bursts through the wall. As he prepares to fight, the system informs him that this zombie has the key to the presidential suite on the 3rd floor, where there are no zombies and can be used as a temporary base. Zhang Chen also spots the VIP elevator card on the zombie's belt, and since there is no other choice, he rushes to attack the zombie and strikes it in the shoulder. However, his axe gets stuck, and the zombie punches him, which he blocks with the shield. The zombie continues to punch, destroying the shield, and then punches the shield away, while another zombie with a fire extinguisher tries to attack him. Zhang Chen quickly grabs the first zombie's head and rips it apart. As the other zombie tries to attack him, he throws the severed head at it and sprays the fire extinguisher in the zombie's face, blocking its vision. Seizing this opportunity, Zhang Chen quickly pulls out his axe, grabs the keys, and escapes while saying goodbye to the zombie. He then presses the elevator button repeatedly, fearing the zombies will catch up. Just then, he hears footsteps, and as the zombie approaches, Zhang Chen's body is having side effects from the physique enhancement medicine. Finally, the elevator arrives, and then he notices that this zombie is a police officer who also has a gun. Although he desperately wants the gun, the timing is really bad. Just then, the horde of zombies catches up, and one even jumps to attack, which Zhang Chen blocks with his shield. He then slides and jumps inside the elevator. With too many zombies to deal with, Zhang Chun decides to find the room the system had suggested earlier. As the elevator doors close, the zombies try to barge in, but fail. Zhang Chun then arrives on the 3rd floor, where there are no zombies, and with the card he has, he can enter the presidential suite, which has 5 bedrooms. As the side effects of the medicine kick in, he quickly uses the card to open the door. After entering the apartment, he goes inside a room and finds a fridge full of mineral water. He quickly takes one and starts drinking, which causes the side effects to dissipate. Along with his combat ability increasing significantly, he realizes that drinking water helps remove the remaining drug from his body. This is good because with this much water in the fridge, he can turn himself into a powerhouse. If he can somehow get a sniper rifle tomorrow, he won't have to fear the zombie horde anymore. Meanwhile, the other players are being destroyed by zombies while Zhang Chun lives lavishly in the presidential suite. Some people block the door with tables to prevent the zombies from entering, while Zhang Chun drinks cold soda, seemingly unconcerned. Others are surrounded by zombies and are struggling to survive, including a guy named Zheng Hao. Zhang Chun eats food without a care in the world, while Wang Shuan, who also took the physique enhancement medicine, eliminates zombies alongside normal humans and loots their supplies. He plans to head to the supermarket area to look for zombie police officers to obtain guns. Later that night, Wang Shuan jumps from building to building, searching for a police zombie, while Zheng Hao and the others manage to survive. Zheng Hao plans to gather more players to establish a survivor camp and increase their chances of making it. Meanwhile, a girl hides under a desk, doing her best to stay calm and avoid being seen by zombies. At the same time, Zheng Chun checks the loot he has collected along the way. He has some clean fabrics, a sewing blueprint, mutant fertilizer, fast-growing fertilizer, an energy crystal core, and some cash. He considers zombies to be full of treasures since he got energy cores from eliminating them, and their corpses turn into mutant fertilizer. His only issue right now is the limited storage space, so he decides to remove small items to make room for food and water, ensuring he has supplies when he goes out again. Among his loot is a car key. The system then informs him that it belongs to a patriotic off-road vehicle in the underground parking lot, and he can try his luck there, as the car has a key item. Zhang Chun plans to go there after getting a gun, but first, he checks the chat system to see how other players are doing. Upon opening the chat, he sees one player requesting water after running a kilometer to escape zombies and becoming thirsty. Another player asks if anyone is near St. Forest Hospital, as they're trapped and need help. Someone else announces that they've slayed a zombie and are willing to trade an energy core for food or water. Then, another person mentions seeing a big shot with an axe, slaying dozens of zombies alone, and asks if the big shot is in the chat and requests to become his underling. Zhang Chun quickly realizes that he is the big shot being referred to, which embarrasses him. Then he notices a player named Zheng Hao, who greets everyone and introduces himself. Zheng Hao explains that he and 6 friends have established a camp called Lucky Ones. He urges other players to send him private messages with their locations, promising that he and his friends will rescue them tomorrow, as they need to work together, sharing resources and abilities to fight against the zombies. Zhang Chun thinks it's a good idea but doesn't want anyone discovering his abilities, as it could lead to trouble. So he decides to travel alone for now. Just then, he notices a person named Wang Shuan trading a lot of items. Zhang Chun is just now learning that he can trade using the system, and he plans to exchange the resources he has for things he needs. As he looks at the options, he sees that water and ham sausages each cost 1 energy core. Seeing how expensive everything is, Zhang Chun believes that Wang Shuan must have traded all his resources for energy crystals, meaning his combat ability might have increased to an unimaginable level in this short period of time. However, during this starting phase, food and water are the most important, because no matter how strong one's combat ability is, they'll need to eat to replenish their energy. Zhang Chun finds everyone else to be foolish for focusing only on becoming stronger, and he plans to take advantage of this by trading some of his weapons for food and water. He then puts some ordinary weapons up for trade, and within less than 3 seconds, they are all sold. As he scrolls through the items, he notices someone named Xiao Xiu selling 2 maps along with a bloody key, with the price to be determined in a private chat. Zhang Chun quickly decides to buy the map and contacts the seller. When the call connects, he discovers that it's a girl hiding under a table. He tells her he wants all 3 items and asks for the price. She responds that she needs food and pure drinking water, and it's fine if he only has water. Zhang Chun believes the map is very important, as it will allow him to determine where supplies are abundant and which areas are dangerous. To avoid showing too much interest, he decides to offer a low price at first. He tells her that the map isn't too useful to him, so he'll trade half a bottle of water and a half-eaten can of luncheon meat for the 3 items. To his surprise, she quickly accepts the deal. He then puts the food and water into the trading system and asks her to confirm the trade. When she does, she seems really happy and thanks him, calling him a good person, unlike the others. He awkwardly replies that it's better to help each other, as surviving here isn't easy. As she begins eating really fast, Zhang Chun tells her to slow down or she'll choke. He feels guilty for ripping her off, so he decides to add her as a friend and make it up to her when he gets more resources. He then suggests they add each other as friends, and casually asks where she is and why she has such valuable items like the maps. However, she abruptly ends the private chat, leaving him wondering if she's in a particularly special place. Though he kinda understands that a girl has to be cautious. Putting that thought aside, he decides to go to sleep. Later, at St. Forest Hospital, Zhang Hao arrives with his friends to rescue the guy who is stuck there. He instructs everyone not to get separated and to move together without being seen. Meanwhile, Zhang Chun gears up and comes out of the presidential suite. As he arrives on the 2nd floor using the elevator, he prepares to face the horde of zombies. However, when the elevator doors open, he quickly rushes to attack, but is surprised to find that not a single zombie is present. This confuses him because he clearly remembers the horde of zombies catching up to him here. He then notices blood that appears to belong to a human. He wonders if another player has passed through this area, and judging by how the blood isn't splattered everywhere, he concludes that they weren't attacked by zombies. Instead, they were hunted by other players. He quickly figures that the murderer must have taken the gun from the zombie police and might still be nearby. However, since Zhang Chun is the only one with the elevator card, he assumes the guy doesn't know that there are people on the 3rd floor and may have already left. For now, Zhang Chun decides to head to the parking lot to find the car that the system hinted at. After Zhang Chun leaves, Wang Shuan comes in through the window, revealing that he has been observing Zhang Chun. Judging by how fast Zhang Chun moved, Wang Shuan assumes his physique is strong, meaning he must have a lot of valuable resources. Despite not knowing exactly how strong Zhang Chun is, Wang Shuan decides to wait until he returns to ambush him. Meanwhile, Zhang Chun arrives in the parking lot and quickly finds the car using the key. The noise attracts 2 zombies, but he quickly eliminates them and stores their loot in his inventory. He then unlocks the car, and upon opening it, finds a shotgun along with some ammo, which he also stores in his inventory. For safety measures, Zhang Chun decides to search the area until he fully absorbs the physique medicine. He also can't go back yet, as he isn't sure if the murderer has discovered him, and the worst-case scenario is that the guy might be waiting near the elevator to ambush him. Later, Zhang Chun returns to the 2nd floor, where the system informs him that there's a man with a gun in the guest room opposite the elevator. With the system's confirmation, Zhang Chun is certain that the murderer is after him. Thankfully, he came upstairs slowly, so that guy might not know he is here. He then tosses an empty can in front of the guest room, and as Wang Shuan peeks out to see what it is, he is confused by the sight of the empty can, while Zhang Chun patiently waits for him to make a move. Just then, Zhang Chun hears a woman screaming for help. Realizing it's the same woman from before, he wonders how she is still alive. He then hears Wang Shuan expressing frustration, thinking that Zhang Chun is downstairs. Suddenly, Zhang Chun hears glass shattering and quickly jumps out of his hiding spot to take a shot, but Wang Shuan has already disappeared. Wondering if Wang Shuan really went downstairs, Zhang Chun decides to follow, as he won't be able to sleep peacefully while being targeted by a murderer. Meanwhile, outside the building, the woman is tied to a tree, crying and screaming as the zombies slowly approach her. She begs the men who tied her there to let her go, as the zombies are getting dangerously close. The fat guy responds, saying they saved her, so she has to do whatever they say. He instructs her to scream even louder, as there aren't enough zombies yet. Another guy asks if they can really handle so many zombies, to which the fat guy responds that yesterday he saw a man slay 8 zombies with an axe without breaking a sweat, which means that zombie bodies are weak, so they'll be fine. The zombies has finally reached the woman, and as one bites her, she screams even louder, attracting more zombies. they all begin biting her as well. Seizing the opportunity, the fat guy attacks a zombie from behind, but his kitchen knife gets stuck in its skull. He and his partner then quickly began running while the horde of zombies chases after them. As the fat guy wonders why things have turned out like this, he shoves his partner toward the zombies, hoping that it will slow them down, and apologizes to the guy. Zhang Chun, who is watching from afar, sighs, realizing that morality has completely collapsed because of this damned apocalypse. As he waits for Wang Shuan to come out, he notices the fat guy running toward him. This frustrates him because if he gets spotted by the zombies, his plan to ambush the murderer will be ruined. Just then, the fat guy trips over a rock and falls, allowing the zombies to catch up and devour him. Zhang Chun peeks from the bushes and smirks at the scene, saying that the fat guy deserves it. Then suddenly, one of the zombies spots him. Realizing he can't avoid this confrontation, Zhang Chun prepares for a fight and decides not to use his shotgun, as the noise would attract more zombies. He then steps out from hiding, and 2 more zombies notice him. He quickly eliminates the first one, then deals with the remaining 2. As he looks at the guy's corpse, the system informs him that while he can take resources from this player's ring, he can't store any new resources in it, so it's better to use the ring as upgrade material. Since this ring can only be obtained from a player, Zhang Chun realizes that to upgrade his storage space, he has to eliminate humans and take their rings. As he wonders who came up with this hellish system, the system suddenly warns him of an incoming enemy from above. Thanks to the quick warning, he was able to dodge Wang Shuran's attack. Wang Shuran praises Zhang Chun for his fast reaction and then mocks him, saying that earlier in the 2nd floor, he jumped from the window to lure him out, and he fell for it. Surprised, Zhang Chun asks how he knew he was hiding behind the wall. Wang Shuran laughs hysterically, saying that tossing an empty can is a common tactic, so it was easy to guess his position. He then menacingly approaches Zhang Chun, telling him not to feel bad about dying since he's just too inexperienced. Zhang Chun quickly prepares his shield and replies that they won't know who dies until the fight is over. Wang Shuran then rushes to attack and easily destroys Zhang Chun's shield. Then he swings his sword at Zhang Chun, who barely manages to block it and tries to counterattack from behind. However, Wang Shuran swiftly spins around and kicks him in the chest, sending him flying backward. Wang Shuran mocks him, calling him a newbie, and asks how it feels to have a sternum fracture. Zhang Chun realizes Wang Shuran is far too experienced in combat, and even using a gun won't be easy, so he has to quickly think of a plan. Zhang Chun then grabs Wang Shuran by the waist and starts pushing him back with all his strength. He asks Wang Shuran why he's hunting players instead of living peacefully with his strength. Wang Shuran ignores him and hits him in the back with his elbow, making Zhang Chun cough up blood. As Wang Shuran continues hitting him, Zhang Chun taunts him, asking why he doesn't use his gun. In response, Wang Shuran quickly pulls out his gun from the inventory, but just then, Zhang Chun bites his hand. As Wang Shuran cocks the gun's hammer into position, Zhang Chun shoves him away, then draws his shotgun and aims it directly at Wang Shuran's forehead. Wang Shuran then suggests that they negotiate, but Zhang Chun pulls the trigger, eliminating him. Because of the loud gunshots, all the zombies have gone berserk, and Zhang Hao instructs everyone to retreat to the gymnasium immediately. Although Zhang Chun was able to defeat Wang Shuran, he got seriously injured during their fight, which causes him to have a hard time breathing as he coughs. The gunshot also attracts many zombies, and they begin heading towards him while his body gives out completely, leaving him immobilized. Just then, Xiao Xiu requests a private chat, which he quickly accepts. When she sees him in this state with zombies approaching, she becomes very worried and tells him to get up quickly, warning that zombies are closing in. She then sends him an adrenaline injection and instructs him to use it immediately to get out of the situation. Using his last bit of strength, Zhang Chun takes the adrenaline, which can give him a temporary berserk effect and takes 3 seconds to activate. Although it only takes 3 seconds to activate, each passing millisecond brings the zombies closer to him. Just as they are about to reach him, the adrenaline takes effect. He swiftly eliminates the zombies in front of him and then cuts through the remaining ones. The system informs him that the adrenaline will last for 10 minutes, which he thinks is enough time to get back to safety. But just then, he notices a horde of zombies rushing towards him. Knowing 10 minutes won't be enough to deal with them, Zhang Chun quickly begins running, but no matter where he goes, the zombies are everywhere. As some get dangerously close, he pulls out the gun he took from Wang Shuran but after pulling the trigger, he realizes it has no bullets. He then dodges a zombie's attack and falls to the ground as they slowly close in on him. Then he notices the parking fence and gets an idea. He rushes past the zombies, eliminating as many as he can, and runs toward the fence, then pulls it out from the ground. As he is surrounded by zombies, he prepares to fight them with his sword and the parking fence. Meanwhile, two guys notice Jiang Chen fighting and are amazed by how strong he is, effortlessly dealing with more than 10 zombies alone. Then another guy also notices the fight and starts streaming it live using the system's public call feature. Then suddenly a giant zombie appears. As Jiang Chen wonders what it is, the system informs him that behind the giant zombie is a special steel wire fence that can stop the horde of zombies, and on the other side is a path leading to the riverbank. After a few minutes, Jiang Chen manages to eliminate the giant zombie and begins dealing with the others. Zhang Hao and his friends were watching the entire fight through the live stream and are amazed, wondering if this guy is the big shot Wang Shuan, who was selling items for energy cores. As the number of zombies increases, Jiang Chen realizes he's no match for them and quickly jumps on top of the fence, where the zombies can't reach him. Just then the adrenaline wears off, causing him to fall from the fence, but luckily, he lands on the opposite side, away from the zombies. The system then informs him that, combined with energy cores obtained from Wang Shuan's storage ring, he has enough energy cores to level up, which will help him fully absorb the physique medicine. Upon checking the storage ring, Jiang Chen is surprised to see how many resources Wang Shuan had obtained. With this much food and water, he won't have to worry for a while. The system then prompts him, asking if he'd like to level up. As he selects yes, it feels like every cell in his body is filled with energy, and the side effects of the physique medicine completely disappeared. The system congratulates him on leveling up and informs him that his physique has reached the peak of the human body's limit, and to level up to an awakener, he needs 300 energy cores. Jiang Chen decides to test out his new physique and punches a boulder, which instantly shatters. He's shocked at how strong he has become, and also his hands don't hurt or bear any scars. He cries with joy, relieved to have survived and leveled up. Then the system informs him that using the other player's rings as materials, his storage ring has successfully upgraded to level 2. Jiang Chen plans to thank Xiao Xiu, knowing that if it weren't for her, he wouldn't have survived this chaos. The system then informs him that the second phase of the game, which will remove the weakened state of zombies and mutant creatures, is just 10 days away, and advises all players to prepare accordingly. Other players receive the same notification and begin to panic, wondering what they will do now, as the zombies will grow stronger in Phase 2, while they still lack proper weapons. Zhang Hao then tells them not to be discouraged, as their team has grown much stronger than last time. And as long as they continue working together, he assures them that they will surely get through this crisis. Hearing this, two players who recently joined the team, Qi Hongda and Qian Zhenyu, suggest that they lead an attack on East Street's supermarket. Since the supermarket contains many resources, Zhang Hao agrees. Thus, they start preparing for the next day's attack. Meanwhile, Jiang Chen gives Xiao Xiu some food and water as thanks for giving him the adrenaline. As she eats hastily, Jiang Chen tells her to slow down, assuring her that no one will snatch her food. After finishing eating, she expresses how glad she is that he survived, as she had thought that he wasn't going to make it. Jiang Chen replies, saying that it's all thanks to her. If she hadn't given him the medicine, he would have surely died. She then humbly replies that any normal person would have done the same when people's lives are at stake. Jiang Chen replies that there aren't that many normal people left in the world, to which Xiao Xiu agrees. Jiang Chen then asks her if she's trapped somewhere, since she's been hiding under the table for so long. He suggests she tell him her location so he can rescue her. Hearing this, Xiao Xiu is about to end the call, but Jiang Chen quickly reassures her that he has no ill intentions. He only wants to inform her that his hiding place is safe and spacious, and she is welcome to live there. Xiao Xiu thanks him for his kindness, as well as the food and water, then bids him farewell and ends the call. Jiang Chen sighs, wondering why she doesn't trust him. Xiao Xiu could have given him her location, if only there really was a way to leave this place, where the true danger lies, something the people outside aren't even aware of. She then hears a strange sound, and as she peeks out from under the table toward the window, she sees nothing, until suddenly, a giant clawed hand slams against the window, terrifying her. Meanwhile, As Jiang Chun runs back to the safe house, he notices an unusual glowing plant. The system informs him that it's a meat potato seed, a rare crop rich in protein that tastes like meat. Since it takes 4 months to grow, Jiang Chun decides to collect the seeds for farming. Later that night, Jiang Chun arrives at the safe house and finds the window broken with the fridge completely empty. Realizing there is an intruder, he quickly draws his gun and stays on guard, but then calms down, knowing that the system would have alerted him if the intruder was still present. Suddenly, he hears a burping sound from the room behind him. He quickly turns and points his gun at the door, commanding the intruder to come out. As the door opens, a little girl named Xiao Xiu, who is holding a hammer and looks scared, steps out. Jiang Chun asks her if she was the one who emptied his fridge, to which she nervously replies that she didn't steal the food or break the window. Annoyed, Jiang Chun points out that she should at least hide her crime tool before lying. Xiao Xiu then tries to change the subject by asking for a bottle of water. As Jiang Chun questions how she can ask for more after emptying his fridge, Xiao Xiu hits his leg with the hammer, and as he screams in pain, she punches his face and then runs away, thanking him for his storage ring. Furious, Jiang Chun curses her, and as he realizes she has stolen his ring, he quickly starts searching for her, cursing the system for not alerting him about the girl. Just then, Xiao Xiu returns and asks him if his gun is real. Jiang Chun quickly holds the gun away and asks if emptying his fridge wasn't enough. Now she wants his gun too. Xiao Xiu then shuts the door and tells him to turn off the light because a zombie is coming. However, he refuses to comply and demands that she return his ring, or he'll eliminate her along with the zombie. At that moment, the system warns him to be cautious of the window behind him. Suddenly, a mutant creature crashes through the window and attacks Jiang Chun. He grabs the creature by the neck while the system identifies it as a larva crawler, a Type 2 mutant zombie known for its speed and jumping ability, but poor eyesight. Xiao Xiu then helps him by hitting the crawler on the head with her hammer, surprising Jiang Chun with her strength. As this buys him enough time, he quickly draws his revolver and shoots the crawler. Believing the crawler is dead, he realizes that they aren't that hard to deal with. He then demands Xiao Xiu to return his ring, threatening to end her just like the crawler. But at that moment, the crawler suddenly stands up, shocking them both. Jiang Chun tells Xiao Xiu to return his ring immediately, as he's out of bullets, and the magazines are inside the ring. Xiao Xiu refuses, and instead tells him to throw her the gun. The crawler then attacks Jiang Chun, who barely manages to dodge before kicking its head, sending it flying into the fridge. Since it can't be helped, Xiao Xiu throws him the ring. After catching it, he quickly takes out some bullets, reloads the gun, and shoots the crawler. However, it easily dodges the shot and starts crawling on the ceiling. Judging by how easily it avoided the bullet, Jiang Chun realizes this monster has intelligence. Suddenly, the crawler bounces off the ceiling to attack Xiao Xiu, who is completely defenseless and screaming. Jiang Chun seizes this perfect opportunity and instantly eliminates the crawler with his sword. Then he stores its corpse in his inventory and gets 15 energy cores from it. He then coldly tells Xiao Xiu that because she helped him just now, he will let her off this time, so she should just leave. She replies that she doesn't want to leave, and since he's so strong and has so many resources, he should just become her boss and protect her. Since she is insisting so much, Jiang Chun reveals his arm, which appears to be injured by the crawler. Seeing this, she laughs hysterically, saying that he's doomed as he will become a zombie in 2 hours. She then offers to eliminate him painlessly if he gives her all his resources. Jiang Chun menacingly approaches her, asking why he must suffer when she's the one who lured the crawler here. Scared, Xiao Xiu asks what he intends to do, and he replies that he's going to eliminate her and take her down with him. Terrified, she replies that she doesn't want to die with him, and plans to return after he becomes a zombie to crush his head with a hammer. She then finally leaves while Jiang Chun is annoyed, as he has encountered many bad people in this apocalypse, but never one as arrogantly malicious as her. He then reveals he wasn't actually injured, and it was all a bluff to get her to leave. The next day, Xiao Xiu returns to the apartment and starts crying when she discovers Jiang Chun has left with all the resources. Meanwhile, Jiang Chun found an island-like safe zone, thanks to Zhao Shiyue's map. The system also confirms that there are no zombies on this island, making it an ideal place for settlement. He then enters one of the houses, and as he is analyzing his surroundings, he suddenly hears barking. He then looks under a table and discovers a baby wolf. The system informs him that it's the Moonwolf King's cub, which has S-rank combat talent, and he can tame it by feeding it meat. Jiang Chen is surprised and happy to find an S-rank wolf cub, but it doesn't seem to like him at all. So he decides to start taming it and gives it a piece of meat. The wolf hesitantly approaches, and as it starts eating, Jiang Chen's eyes brim with excitement. The system informs him that the wolf's favorability has increased by 1, and once it reaches 100, the wolf will be bonded with him and be loyal forever. It also mentions that the wolf's combat ability is equivalent to that of an abnormally strong human wielding a weapon. Jiang Chen can't believe his luck to obtain a wolf cub whose combat power rivals Wang Shuan's. Meanwhile, 2 guys in Zhang Hao's group revealed that they were bitten by zombies, and as they beg him to eliminate them, Zhang Hao instructs Jun Yu to give them some food. She questions why, as they will turn into zombies in 2 hours, and they are currently facing a food shortage. Zhang Hao replies that these 2 were injured while protecting the rest of the group, so the least he can do is let them eat before sending them off. Jun Yu and the others are touched by Zhang Hao's words, and as she accepts the task, Qi Hongda seems to disagree. Meanwhile, Zhang Chen takes out the last piece of meat from his inventory and gives it to Peng, whose favorability has already reached 99. As Peng eats the meat, the system congratulates Zhang Chen for taming a combat pet. He then checks Peng's stats and learns that it is currently ranked as a cub. As it continues to grow, its rank will increase along with its combat abilities, and it will also gain new skills. More importantly, the system states that Peng can eat zombie meat, which makes Zhang Chen happy as it simplifies feeding Peng. He then gives Peng some tap water to drink, but suddenly the water from the tap starts to change color. But Zhang Chen isn't surprised, as he expected this since Phase 2 will start soon, and all kinds of monsters will begin to appear, so it's not unusual for the water to become contaminated. Later, Zhang Chen and Peng arrive at the river near the safe house and start planting the seeds he found earlier. After planting, he tells Peng to stop digging since they have no more seeds left. While watering the seeds, he realizes that if it doesn't rain, using drinking water for watering won't last long, so he needs to find a water purification device. He also has to build an interception fence to make the place fully zombie-proof. Jiang Chen then decides to leave to gather resources and instructs Peng to guard the home and not let anyone or anything near the island. Meanwhile, a guy and a girl are fighting some zombies, and after eliminating around 12 zombies, they store all the loot in their inventory. While talking about how today's loot isn't bad, the girl is suddenly struck by an arrow. Before the guy can react, he is also struck, killing them both. The one who shot the arrow was a red-haired girl together with a guy who asks her why she eliminated the girl when he clearly told her not to, and she replies that since he already has her, it doesn't matter. She then insists that they shouldn't waste time and quickly collects the loot. Just as she's about to go there, the guy stops her, informing her that someone else is here, and that person is Jiang Chen, who arrived with his sword and is already aware of the bandits on the 3rd floor's window thanks to the system informing him. Judging by their long-range strategy to ambush players, Jiang Chen concludes they must have been doing this for a long time and have killed many others. As the red-haired girl prepares to shoot Jiang Chen, the guy stops her, saying they don't know his strength and shooting arrow will only expose their location. So he decides to play it safe and texts all his allies to ambush Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen realizes that these guys will escape before he can reach the 3rd floor, so he plans to somehow lure them down. Just then, 3 other players approach him, demanding that he hand over all his belongings. Jiang Chen declines and tells them to hand over their belongings instead. Then suddenly, a man jumps out from the bushes to attack him. As Jiang Chen prepares to block, the red-haired girl shoots an arrow at him, which he catches just in time. However, this distraction allows the man's attack to land, knocking Jiang Chen unconscious. While one of the players mocks Jiang Chen for being weak, another calls for their boss. As 2 players descend from the 3rd floor, the red-haired girl questions why they call him boss when he's too scared to attack. She then proclaims herself the new boss of the bandits. During their conversation, the boss notices Jiang Chen's hand twitching and quickly warns everyone to watch out. But it was too late as Jiang Chen has already eliminated one of them, revealing that his fainting was a ploy to gather them together. Then another guy tries to attack him from behind, but he fails as Jiang Chen cuts him in half. Just then, the system alerts Jiang Chen of an incoming grenade. However, it's too late, as the grenade has already exploded, engulfing him and another player in flames. Fortunately, Jiang Chen was able to escape the flames and starts climbing a building to catch up with the other 2 bandits who ran away. The girl then questions why they're running instead of throwing another grenade at him, to which the bandit boss replies that it won't be enough to stop him, because judging by Jiang Chun's speed and strength, his physique is surely at the peak of human capability, so a grenade won't be able to stop him. Just then, the guy notices that Jiang Chen is catching up with them, so he starts running faster. Unfortunately for them, they come across a dead end, with the path ahead blocked by a horde of zombies. With no way out, the guy tries to negotiate, offering Jiang Chen 50% of their loot if he spares them. Jiang Chen, however, demands 80%. As the guy refuses, saying that 80% is too much, the girl warns them that if they keep arguing, none of them will be able to escape when the giant zombie attacks. Jiang Chen then confidently suggests that they wait together. However, the system warns him to stay away from the giant zombie. As the giant zombie approaches, the two bandits realizes that they won't escape if it comes any closer, so they accept Jiang Chun's demands and agree to give him their storage ring. But they add the condition that he must drop his sword first, to which Jiang Chun quickly complies and drops it. It turns out the guy is lying and doesn't plan to hand over the ring. Instead, he instructs his partner to grab Jiang Chun's sword as soon as he throws a grenade at the zombies. The girl agrees, but hesitates, questioning what they'll do if Jiang Chun truly has peak human strength. Before he can reply, the guy notices the zombies getting dangerously close, so he decides to go through with the plan anyway. He then quickly takes out the grenade, but the girl snatches it from him and pushes him toward the zombies. She then jumps onto the giant zombie and tosses the grenade, causing a huge explosion. As the dust clears, Jiang Chun sees that the girl has escaped while the giant zombie somehow survives. He then spots the bandit boss's storage ring, and as he plans to take it, the giant zombie notices him and charges. The system then suggests that it would be wiser for him to leave the giant zombie and chase after the girl. Following the system's advice, Jiang Chun decides to retreat and follow the girl who also stole his sword. Meanwhile, Zhang Hao's team comes across the corpses of the previous two players. Zhen Yu suspects this to be the work of bandits, but Zhang Hao finds it strange, as if it were really done by bandits. They would have taken the players' storage rings. Just then, a guy reports that he found bandit corpses. Realizing that someone more dangerous may be using these bodies to lure them, Zhang Hao quickly tells everyone to stay alert. Suddenly, they spot the bandit girl fleeing from Jiang Chen. She yells at him, asking why he didn't take the storage ring and instead chased her. Without answering, Jiang Chun shoots her in the forehead, eliminating her. This shocks everyone, as not only do they witness her die, but they are terrified to see the killer wielding a gun. As Jiang Chun approaches the bandits' bodies with his weapon, Zhang Hao commands his team not to move. Jiang Chun then inspects the bandit girl's storage ring and finds resources, including a novice-rank water purifier that can slightly purify polluted water, suitable for washing or watering plants, though not for drinking. Terrified, Zhang Hao instructs Zhen Yu to retrieve the ring from the corpses they found and present it to Jiang Chen. If Jiang Chen refuses to let them go, Hong Da is ordered to lead the team in a quick evacuation, while Zhang Hao does his best to stop Jiang Chen. While he explains that they are just simply passing and have no ill intentions, Zhen Yu calmly places the storage rings in front of Jiang Chen. In response, he reloads his shotgun, which scared her and the others. He then picks up the rings and gives them back, saying that since they were the ones who discovered the rings first, they rightfully belong to them. As he is leaving, Zhang Hao thanks him for his generosity and asks for his name, to which he responds with a fake name and walks away. Later, after searching for hours, Jiang Chun couldn't find his sword, so he returned to the place where he left the giant zombie to at least retrieve the bandit boss's ring. However, that's missing too, which he finds really strange, since there's no way anyone could have taken it with a horde of zombies still there. But since he has the filtering device, he decides to return to the safe house. Meanwhile, it turns out Xiao Xiu was the one who took both the sword and the storage ring. The next day, as Jiang Chen surrounds the island with a fence, the system informs him that the meat potato plant has started to sprout and will mature in 120 days. However, he can use speed growth fertilizer to accelerate its development, though it can only be applied every 3 days. He then uses 200 mutant fertilizers, which successfully fused and transform into 20 speed growth fertilizers. After using 7 of these, the plant quickly sprouts, reducing the maturation period to just 60 days. He plans to repeat this process in 3 days, and in the meantime, he plans to gather seeds to plant across the entire island. Just then, Erpang arrives with a bucket of water, which is purified using the novice rank water purifier with decent effectiveness. If he can somehow obtain an intermediate level water purifier, he won't have to worry about drinking water. He then pats Erpang while saying that they'll soon go to fight zombies together. Later that night, Zhang Chen uses his bow and arrow to eliminate zombies from atop a building, while Erpang transforms, growing larger to trample the zombies. Impressed by Erpang's combat abilities, Zhang Chen decides to level up quickly, so he starts collecting the loots, which includes 13 zombie corpses, 5 mutant fertilizers, and 19 energy cores, which is a lot but not enough since he needs around 300 energy cores to level up, and he only has 103. Then, Erpang notices a crawler trying to escape and begins to follow it. While Zhang Chen warns him not to as it's dangerous, Erpang doesn't listen to him and continues to chase after the crawler into an alley, where he's ambushed by more crawlers. One even latches onto him like a parasite. Zhang Chen quickly fires arrows to try and knock them off Erpang, but the arrows break upon impact. Suddenly, the crawler releases Erpang and charges at him, which is perfect, as he doesn't have to chase after it to fight. He then quickly takes out a kitchen knife from his inventory and uses it to eliminate the crawler, and got 15 energy cores from it. He then commands Erpang to turn around, and as he does, Zhang Chen shoots an arrow that grazes the crawler, causing it to fall off. As Erpang begins biting the crawler in rage, Zhang Chen tells him to calm down and finish it quickly so they can retreat, sensing that something really strange is going on. However, it's too late, as they are surrounded by crawlers. Zhang Chen finds it odd that so many of them are appearing here, making him wonder if something has changed in the survival game. Nevertheless, he instructs Erpang to split up so they can escape. Meanwhile, Zhang Hao and his group have finally secured the supermarket. With 2 men guarding the entrance, Zhang Hao commands everyone to gather supplies quickly before a zombie horde shows up. Just then, the guards outside notice the crawlers approaching and hurry inside to alert everyone that there are 4 crawlers outside. Everyone started to panic, while Zhen Yu finds it strange, wondering why so many crawlers are suddenly appearing. As the crawlers press against the glass, Zhang Hao starts moving furniture to block the entrance and orders everyone to help. Following his lead, they successfully barricaded the door. Suddenly, one of them spots someone surrounded by crawlers, and it turns out to be Zhang Chen, who is fighting the group alone. The other players are shocked at how easily Zhang Chen is taking down the crawlers, while Zhen Yu recognizes him as the person they encountered the day before. Just then, 2 crawlers close in behind him, and as Zhen Yu quickly calls out a warning, Zhang Chen spins around and eliminates one with his knife before pulling out a gun to take down the other. Meanwhile, Xiao Xiu wakes up feeling unusually warm and wonders what's going on. The system then congratulates her, informing her that she has become an awakener and that her talent has been selected. Confused, she wonders how she became an awakener when all she did was sleep. At the same time, Zhang Hao and his group manage to avoid a confrontation with the crawlers, thanks to Zhang Chen luring them away. Zhang Hao finds it strange that so many crawlers suddenly appear and decides to cancel today's plan and return to the gymnasium immediately. Meanwhile, Zhang Chen is still being chased by the crawlers and wonders why they aren't getting tired. Suddenly, all the crawlers froze, leaving him confused as he wonders why they have suddenly stopped. Then, the system announces that unusual activity has been detected in the game of survival, as someone has illegally leveled up to an awakener, causing Phase 2 to begin much sooner, with only 1 minute left until it starts. This confuses him further, and he wonders how anyone could even cheat in this game. The system then warns him that as Phase 2 begins, crawlers will evolve into adults, making them a much greater threat. Thus, he is recommended to eliminate them immediately. Ignoring the system's advice, he sees this as a perfect chance to collect all the loot and escape. Zhang Hao and his group also take this opportunity to retreat to the gymnasium, while Zhang Chen gathers loot, with only 25 seconds until Phase 2 starts. After collecting everything, he decides to escape, but his path is blocked by a horde of zombies. He asks the system for help, and it advises him to go through the alley and turn left after 300 meters. There, he will find a truck filled with fuel that he can use to charge out of the horde. Unfortunately, he can't drive but decides to try anyway, since he has no other choice with only 15 seconds left until Phase 2 begins. Running out of time, he decides to charge through the horde of zombies instead of taking the alley. When he reaches the truck, he finds the door held shut by a zombie. With no time to fight it, he decides to hide under the truck, and as he slides in to get underneath, he hits his ankle on a rock, causing him intense pain. While he writhes in agony clutching his ankle, the system announces the beginning of Phase 2. Just then, a crawler leaps from the truck to attack him, which he narrowly avoids. However, it doesn't stop and continues to attack while he keeps dodging. Zhang Chun realizes that dragging out this fight will only get him killed, but he can't do much damage without his sword. He then rushes toward the truck, planning to hide inside and look for any weapon. Fortunately, when he opens the door, he found a rocket launcher, which he quickly picks up and fires at the crawler, blasting it to bits. Meanwhile, Zhang Hao and his group are completely surrounded by countless zombies. As he tries his best to fight, he urges everyone to work together to escape, but unfortunately one of them is bitten by a zombie. Just then, the ground starts to shake with a loud stomping sound, and when they look in the direction it's coming from, they see a giant zombie slowly approaching them. Seeing this, everyone starts to panic, but Zhang Hao tells them to stay calm so they can focus on moving back and finding a place where the zombies can't reach them. However, Hong Da refuses, saying they can't escape unless someone lures the giant zombie away. He suggests sacrificing a few of their group to make it out. Zhang Hao absolutely refuses to sacrifice one of their own, but Hong Da argues that in this world, it's survival of the fittest, and if they don't make sacrifices, everyone will die. Thus, he believes that Zhang Hao isn't fit to be their leader. As their argument intensifies, Jun Yu tells them to stop and informs them that the giant zombie is getting dangerously close. They all quickly start running following Zhang Hao's lead, while he directs them toward a manhole cover where they can hide in the sewers. Just then, a crawler bursts out of the manhole, shocking everyone as they panic, wondering what they are going to do now. Hong Da smirks at Zhang Hao, saying he warned him earlier, and again suggests they proceed with the bait method to escape. At that moment, Zhang Chun arrives with the truck and begins running over zombies while collecting their energy cores along the way. As he has gathered more than enough energy cores to level up, the system prompts him to confirm. He then quickly presses yes, causing him to level up and become a novice rank 1 awakener. The system also informs him that his talent is automatically selected, and he will need 12,000 energy cores to reach the next level. As everyone feels relieved seeing the truck and thinking they're saved, Zhang Chun peeks out and aims the rocket launcher at the zombie horde. He then pulls the trigger, creating a massive explosion that clears a path for him to drive through. While everyone is shocked by the blast, Zhang Hao recognizes Zhang Chun and quickly decides to use this opportunity to escape. He then commands everyone to follow closely behind the truck. Meanwhile, Xiao Xiu is completely surrounded by zombies. However, they don't attack her, thanks to her talent that allows her to blend in with them. They ignore her even when she collects loot from other zombie corpses. Suddenly, she hears a dog barking among the zombies, and as she scans the area, she spots a cute dog that turns out to be Erpang. Meanwhile, Zhang Hao and his group safely escape the zombie horde by following Zhang Chun's truck. With ill intent, Hong Da suggests sending some people to follow Zhang Chun to find out where he lives. Terrified by the idea, Zhang Hao refuses and asks him if he wants everyone here to die. He reminds him that they already tried to recruit Zhang Chun, but he refused, so they cannot afford to offend such a dangerous person. Jun Yu feels dejected, as it hasn't been long since they met Zhang Chun, yet somehow he has become even stronger than before. Later, Zhang Chun arrives at the safe house, where Erpang is waiting for him at the entrance. He is glad that Erpang has returned safely, and while patting him, Zhang Chun noticed that someone has treated his wound. Curious, he asks Erpang who helped him. Meanwhile, hearing the truck's engine noise, Xiao Xiu comes out onto the balcony and spots Zhang Chun. She then immediately grabs a sword and jumps down to attack him, while saying that she won't let him suffer anymore. Fortunately, Zhang Chun is warned by the system in advance, so he easily dodges the attack and quickly takes the sword from her after recognizing that it's his sword. Xiao Xiu still believes Zhang Chun was injured and has turned into a zombie, so asks him why he didn't wait for her after becoming a zombie. Zhang Chun responds by telling her not to act so friendly, and judging by her appearance, he asks if she is turning into a zombie. She informs him that she isn't turning into a zombie. Instead, it's just an effect of a skill she gained after awakening. Zhang Chun suddenly attacks her with the sword, which she barely manages to dodge. He then strikes again, but she evades this blow too, and counters with a skill called Trap, which surrounds Zhang Chun in green smoke. The system identifies the skill and warns him that it's powerful enough to turn even an abnormally strong player into a zombie within 30 seconds. Zhang Chun then tells her to stop, explaining that he was only testing her abilities. After witnessing her attack, he is certain that aside from himself and the cheater, she is the third awakened player in this game. Although it's impressive that she was able to level up so quickly without a combat ability, she is too dangerous to keep by his side. He then thanks her for treating his pet, and remarks that since she's here, she has probably emptied all his resources again, so it's time for her to leave. She refuses to leave, saying that instead of nitpicking over a bit of food, he should just cover her meals and provide shelter, since he's going to be her boss from now on. Annoyed, Zhang Chun yells at her to leave, pointing out that last time, for just a bit of food, she emptied his whole fridge, and now she plans to leech off him. She then desperately requests him to let her stay, and offers skill books, blueprints, and 30 ring fragments in exchange. Zhang Chun refuses to negotiate, as he doesn't trust her enough to keep her around. As he is determined to kick her out, Xiao Xiu reveals that she knows the location of an arsenal, pointing out that his bullets will eventually run out, so wouldn't it be better if he could restock ammunition in advance? He decides to give her a chance and asks where the arsenal is. She replies that she'll reveal the location in a week. Otherwise, he might just chase her away after learning it. Zhang Chun accepts the deal and instructs Pang to keep an eye on her and report immediately if she makes any suspicious moves. Pang gladly accepts the task. Xiao Xiu then decides to go to the house first, but Zhang Chun stops her, demanding the skill books and blueprints she mentioned earlier. She then plays dumb, claiming she doesn't know what he's talking about and saying she has no skill books, so he must have heard wrong. However, her tricks don't work on him. He responds by saying he has enough bullets and weapons and might not need to restock, hinting that he can just kick her out right now. She quickly apologizes, saying she remembers the skill books and hands them over. Among the skill books are Expert Rock Climbing, Clothing Master, Wood Collector, Accurate Longbow, and Analyze Eye. Zhang Chun quickly learns all the skills. Xiao Xiu then reluctantly hands him the 30 rig fragments she promised, which surprises him, as he hadn't expected her to become so cooperative so quickly. He then gives her some mutant fertilizer and instructs her to work with Pang on the potato farm. She gladly accepts, assuring him not to worry and promising to handle all the island's chores. Although she has given him all her resources, she doesn't regret it, as she no longer has to go out for food. Later, as Zhang Chun reviews the skills he gained, the system informs him that he's the first awakener in this world to receive 2 talents. It asks him if he'd like to activate gene and energy improvement talents. Upon selecting yes, the system informs him that he has obtained the gene evolving talent skill, Strong Body, which increases his healing by 10% and boosts his strength, speed, and reaction time by 50%. He then receives the energy evolved talent skill, Enlightenment, which surrounds him with pure energy, increasing his damage by 10%, decreasing damage taken by 10%, and improving the efficiency of obtained energy cores by 20%. Now that he has an energy protective shield, Zhang Chun believes fighting zombies shouldn't be an issue anymore. Meanwhile, the zombies are trying to break into the gymnasium. Zhang Hao tries his best to barricade a window and instructs everyone to double-check after hammering the nails, as the zombies will likely be around for a long time. Frustrated, one guy gives up, saying that even if the zombies can't get inside, they also can't go outside, and on top of that, they're facing a food shortage, so they're all going to die from starvation. Zhen Yu tries to reassure him, saying they've already survived so many hardships, so they'll make it through somehow. The man suddenly starts giggling menacingly, then his eyes turn red, and then he rushes to attack Zhen Yu, revealing that he's been bitten and has become a zombie. As it happens too fast for Zhen Yu to react, Hongda steps in to help and quickly eliminates the zombie before it can reach her. Hongda then asks everyone who was injured in the battle to step forward, promising to lock them in a safe place where they can stay peacefully until they turn into zombies. However, he warns that if any injured person hides and he has to find them himself, there will be consequences. Terrified, everyone begins looking around for any injured people, and finally, a young boy steps forward, trembling in fear as he reveals he was wounded by a zombie. Hongda smirks menacingly and holds his sword close to the boy's neck, revealing he lied about locking them in a safe place and instead intends to eliminate anyone injured. As he swings his arm back, preparing to strike, Zhang Hao quickly intervenes, blocking Hongda's strike with his sword. However, Hongda parries the attack and then swings forward, killing the boy. Enraged, Zhang Hao demands to know why Hongda would do this when he promised to lock the injured safely away and let them live until the end. Meanwhile, Zhen Yu is devastated by the boy's death, as he was such a good kid and the hardest working of them all. Filled with rage, she points her arrow at Hongda, cursing him. Annoyed, he asks how she can be so ungrateful, pointing a weapon at him after he just saved her. Zhang Hao then urges Zhen Yu not to attack, reminding her they're surrounded by zombies and can't afford internal conflict. Though she desperately wants to kill this scumbag right now, she understands the situation and holds back, storing her bow in the inventory. Seeing she is unharmed, Hongda seizes the opportunity and rushes to attack her, announcing that he will eliminate anyone who shows murderous intent toward him. But before he can reach her, Zhang Hao hurls fireballs at him, causing serious damage. Angry Hongda accuses Zhang Hao of betraying him, attacking his childhood friend for an outsider's sake. He complains about Zhang Hao not allowing him to eliminate those who are a burden or turning into zombies, and now even those who want to kill him. He argues that because of Zhang Hao's excessive kindness, the camp is doomed. He then begins coughing up blood and calmly tells Zhang Hao that out of everyone in their group, he's the one most afraid of death, which is why he's taking all these precautions. But since Zhang Hao was the one who saved his life, he's willing to return the favor and asks to be killed immediately. Ignoring his request, Zhang Hao orders 2 men to take Hongda to get medical attention. As they help him up, Zhang Hao menacingly tells everyone to forget what happened here today and not to mention it to anyone. He then asks Zhen Yu how long their food supply will last, and she replies they have about 2 days. With the situation looking desperate, he decides to take a risk and search for resources alone once most of the zombies leave. He tells her to disband the group if he doesn't return. Hearing this, she starts crying as she does not want him to face the danger alone, but she knows she must stay here to protect everyone, so she accepts the task. 4 days later at the safe house, as the meat potato crops have fully matured, Xiao Xiu and Pang are having fun running around and harvesting them. She is really happy that they were able to harvest enough meat potatoes to feed the 3 of them for a week. Zhang Chen, who is resting nearby, reminds her to collect the seeds and replant them before even thinking of eating them. She accepts the task and mentions that the meat potatoes have a lot of moisture, which makes them difficult to preserve, so she suggests using her skill, corpse fog, to dry them. Shocked by her stupidity, Zhang Chen asks her if she wants to turn them all into zombies. She replies that she just wanted to test it and hasn't actually done it yet. Just then, the system informs him that crops infected by corpse fog will turn into zombie poison without any change in their appearance or taste. Curious, Zhang Chen decides to experiment and instructs Xiao Xiu to use her skill on a few of the crops. She accepts the task without any question and activates her skill, which covered some of the meat potatoes in corpse fog. However, there's no visible effect, which confuses Xiao Xiu. Zhang Chen, on the other hand, expected this outcome and sees it as an advantage, a weapon that can harm foes without them realizing it. He then stores the poisoned potatoes in his inventory, and much to his surprise, even the system doesn't detect the poison. This makes them especially dangerous, as he now has to be extra careful not to eat them accidentally. Putting that aside, he uses some wood together with 10 energy cores to craft 10 longbows, then uses 3 more energy cores to make 30 arrows. Once he finishes, he hands the bows and arrows to Xiao Xiu, instructing her to use the trading system to exchange them for gasoline, food, water, and additional energy cores. Xiao Xiu then asks why he made so few arrows, as this leaves only 3 arrows per bow. Zhang Chen explains that once the players run out of arrows, they'll have to buy more from him, and he'll gradually raise the price. Impressed, Xiao Xiu accepts the task and assures him that she'll sell all the arrows. Just then, Zhang Chen receives a system notification informing him that Zhao Shi Yue has sent a trade request. Surprised to hear from her after so long, Zhang Chen accepts the trade and receives various resources, such as 30 mutant fertilizer, 5 energy cores, 10 clean clothes, 2 strong flashlights, and 3 batteries. Confused, he wonders if she sent all of this by mistake since he didn't trade anything back. Worried, he uses the system to call her, and when she answered, he sees her still hiding under a table while panting heavily and crying. She asks why he called now when she has already decided to give up. Filled with worry and confusion, Zhang Chen asks her what's happening. Before she can reply, a giant creature's leg crashes through the room she's in. Terrified, she realizes this is the end for her. She says her goodbyes to Jiang Chen, expressing how grateful she is to have known him, thanking him for supplying her with food and helping her survive for so long, and hoping the items she sent will be useful to him. Jiang Chen desperately begs her to send her location so he can come and rescue her, but she doesn't want to put him in danger. He insists, but just then, the call cuts off. Xiao Xiu, who has been watching this unfold, is shocked to see the giant creature's leg. Just then, she recognizes the surroundings and realizes it's the same arsenal she visited a week ago and promised Jiang Chen she would reveal the location of. Jiang Chen then grabs her by the collar and demands that she reveal the location right now. Though she doesn't want to give up her bargaining chip, she reluctantly shares the location and informs him that she only knows the perimeter, not the full area. Now that he has the location, Jiang Chen decides to go to the arsenal immediately and rescue Xiao Xiu. Later, as they head toward the arsenal, Xiao Xiu notices that the horde of zombies has finally receded. Judging by how many there were yesterday, she assumes that many people must have died fighting them. Hearing this, Jiang Chen hopes that Xiao Xiu is safe and is holding on somehow. Just then, Xiao Xiu spots someone fighting a mature crawler alone, and that person turns out to be Zhang Hao, who is throwing swords at the creature. Although his attacks didn't deal much damage, they caused the crawler to lose balance. Seizing the opportunity, Zhang Hao rushes in and swiftly eliminates the crawler. Jiang Chen then uses the system to analyze Zhang Hao's stats and learns that he has recently leveled up, achieving an abnormally strong physique and is currently using adrenaline to boost his strength. Jiang Chen thinks he's crazy for coming out of shelter to face crawlers right after leveling up. Setting that thought aside, he accelerates the truck and instructs Xiao Xiu to sit tight as he prepares to ram through the zombies. Zhang Hao notices Jiang Chen driving the truck and is impressed to see him crushing the zombies with it. He realizes the gap in strength and resources between them is substantial. As they continue to mow down zombies, they are automatically collecting energy cores along the way, which are then evenly distributed between the two of them, making Xiao Xiu very happy, and she's glad that she decided to follow Jiang Chen. Just then, they notice a giant zombie ahead. Seeing that Jiang Chen isn't stopping, Xiao Xiu advises him to be careful about running it over. He then accelerates even more, charging through the giant zombie like a bullet. And while Xiao Xiu feels relieved that it went smoothly, Jiang Chen assures her that this truck is reinforced and heavy-duty. It can handle even more giant zombies if needed. Then suddenly, a crawler jumps onto the windshield. Jiang Chen then tries to shake it off, and though it works briefly, more crawlers started climbing the truck. Realizing it won't be easy to get them off, Jiang Chen instructs Xiao Xiu to take the wheel while he handles the crawlers. As Xiao Xiu begins driving, Jiang Chen opens the door and climbs on top of the truck. But first, he instructs Erpang to get off the truck and stealthily follow it from behind and find the right time to attack. Erpang quickly proceeds with the plan while Jiang Chen climbs on top and spots 3 crawlers. Realizing it will be a tough battle on a moving platform, he quickly activates his skill-enlightened shield, which will only last for 15 minutes. The crawlers then rush to attack him from opposite sides, impressing Jiang Chen as he didn't expect them to attack strategically. He then blocks one crawler's attack and dodges the follow-up strike from behind, causing the crawler to fall in front of him. This allows him to quickly eliminate it and receive 36 energy cores. Just then, another crawler attacks from behind, biting his shoulder, but thanks to his enlightened shield, it doesn't do much damage. As he punches the crawler away and cuts off its arm, the third crawler finally managed to climb on top of the truck. Before they can attack together, Jiang Chen swiftly eliminates the injured crawler and gains 32 more energy cores. As the third crawler seems to retreat, Jiang Chen's gene-strengthening skill activates and begins healing him. But just then, the third crawler attacks him from behind, revealing that it was only pretending to run away. However, Jiang Chen isn't too worried, as he anticipated a trick like this and planned for it. At that moment, Erpang jumps onto the truck and attacks the crawler, pinning it down while Jiang Chen finishes it off, receiving an additional 32 energy cores. As he pats Erpang for completing his task successfully, Xiao Xiu calls for him to quickly come down and take the wheel, because there's a large number of zombies ahead, and on top of that, the truck isn't slowing down because the brakes have failed. As she rams through the giant zombies, Jiang Chen climbs down and tells her to move quickly. He then takes control of the truck and drives out of the zombie horde. However, in the process, he spins the steering wheel a bit too much, and they're about to crash into the guardrail. Fortunately, he manages to turn the truck in time, but as they ram through another giant zombie, the truck starts catching fire. When Xiao Xiu informs him of this, he tells her to shut up. The system then alerts him that they have 40 seconds left before the truck explodes. Believing this is enough time to reach the arsenal, Zhang Chun accelerates even more while the truck gradually catches fire. A few moments later, they arrive at the arsenal, only to find the area crowded with zombies. Zhang Chun then instructs Xiao Xiu and Erpong to jump when he counts down to 1. As he reaches 1, they quickly jump out of the truck, which continues forward and then explodes, eliminating most of the zombies nearby. As Xiao Xiu and Erpong swear to never ride in Zhang Chun's vehicle again, he tells them not to complain and to follow him quickly. She then asks if they're really going in without any preparation, to which he responds by asking if she's waiting for more zombies to arrive. Just then, he receives a system notification alerting him that there's a large lizard with combat ability equivalent to a rank 2 awakener inside. However, it's too late, as the lizard is already right in front of them. Suddenly it rushes to attack, and Zhang Chun quickly pushes Xiao Xiu away, causing himself to get eaten by the giant lizard. Erpong rushes to save Zhang Chun, but Xiao Xiu quickly tells him to stop, warning that the creature is too strong for him to handle. As Xiao Xiu starts crying, believing Zhang Chun has died, the monster begins to tremble. Just then, its mouth explodes as Zhang Chun emerges from it, holding a rocket launcher, and with his skill-enlightened shield activated. While Xiao Xiu expresses how relieved she is that he's alive, Zhang Chun rapidly fires at the lizard, as the system also urges him to end the battle quickly due to the lizard's rapid regeneration ability. With the lizard weakened, Zhang Chun rushes to finish it off. But suddenly, it lashes out its tongue, shattering his enlightened shield and dealing him a critical blow. He quickly activates his gene-strengthening skill to heal himself, and as he tries to figure out how to defeat the creature, the system informs him that the lizard relies on its highly sensitive eyes to track prey, and that its most vulnerable spot is its spine, where a critical blow can be delivered. Armed with this information, he devises a plan, and instructs Xiao Xiu to quickly use her skill to target the lizard's eyes. Following his command, she immediately casts her skill, Corpse Fog, on the lizard, causing it to lose its sight. Using this opportunity, Zhang Chun leaps in the air to attack, and then stabs the lizard's spine just as the system suggested. As the lizard struggles and rolls around to shake Zhang Chun off its back, he drives the sword even deeper, ultimately resulting in the lizard's death. He gets off the lizard's corpse, and Xiao Xiu rushes toward him, asking if he is all right. He assures her that he is fine, and instructs her to quickly search the surroundings to see if Zhao Shiyue is nearby. She accepts the task but first decides to take a selfie to post in the public chat and show off. Zhang Chun smacks her on the head and tells her to find Zhao Shiyue immediately. As Xiao Xi begins searching, Zhang Chun collects the loot. Among the items are 60 energy cores that will boost his skills and help him level up, 10 mutant fertilizers, 1 evolver's blood, 30 pieces of tough leather, and 10 sharp claws. The system analyzes the items and informs him that evolver's blood is a precious medicinal material. Tough leather can be used to create energy defense items, and sharp claws are rare materials for crafting energy weapons. As they continue searching for Zhao Shiyue and calling out her name, they receive no response or find any trace of her. This makes Zhang Chun increasingly worried, wondering if Zhao Shiyue has already died. It has been hours since they started searching, and they still can't find her. Just then, Xiao Xi calls out to him, saying that she has found a window similar to the one she saw when he was talking to Zhao Shiyue. Zhang Chun recognizes the window, and after analyzing the area, they find a fallen wall with a large hole where the window used to be. After matching it, they are certain that Zhao Shiyue must be nearby. Zhang Chun then starts lifting debris to find an opening, and eventually uncovers a path into a room where Zhao Shiyue lies unconscious. However, she appears to be infected. When Xiao Xi assesses her condition, she discovers that Zhao Shiyue has been infected for a long time, but somehow managed to survive until now. Fortunately, Xiao Xi has a skill that can save Zhao Shiyue, though it will take time because the virus is deeply rooted in her blood. Relieved to find her alive, Zhang Chun tells Xiao Xi to take her time healing Zhao Shiyue while he guards the area. Just then, the system informs him of a room filled with weapons and ammunition. Learning this, he quickly enters the room and finds an armored vehicle along with numerous weapons. Zhang Chun now realizes where Zhao Shiyue has been getting all the resources she trades. However, He also understands she must have had a hard time, as this place is so dangerous that even he almost died earlier. Setting that thought aside, he stores all the weapons and ammunition in his inventory. Among the items are 100 AK-47s, 100,000 rounds of ammunition, 6 rocket launchers, and 238 rockets. Then suddenly, the ground begins to shake. As Xiao Xiu asks what's happening, Zhang Chen tells her to stay where she is while he investigates. Running around to find the source of the tremors, he comes across a room containing a treasure chest. And thinking it might hold valuable resources, Zhang Chen decides to check it out, and curses the system for not informing him about the chest earlier. As he gets a little closer to the chest, he notices a well behind it. Confused, he wonders why there is a well inside the building and what might be inside it. Then, suddenly, a giant hand emerges from the well, as if something is trying to crawl out. As he trembles in fear, wondering what kind of creature might be lurking inside the well, it finally crawls out, revealing a massive figure, one far larger than even a giant zombie. Seeing this, Zhang Chen instructs Xiao Xiu to quickly get inside the armored vehicle with Zhao Shiyue and prepare to leave. Confused about what's happening, Xiao Xiu comes to take a look and informs Zhang Chen that the recovery isn't complete. Just then, she notices the unusually giant zombie, which Zhang Chen is firing rockets at. He tells her to take Zhao Shiyue and leave first while he stalls for time. However, Zhang Chen soon realizes that his attacks are doing no damage at all. The zombie retaliates, and he barely manages to dodge the attack. The system then informs him that this mutant zombie is a tank with super strength, enhanced speed, rapid reflexes, resistance to all kinds of attacks, and the ability to perform sonic attacks. As Zhang Chen wonders what is wrong with this world and why this monstrosity is considered a zombie, Xiao Xiu assists by attacking the zombie's eye while taking Zhao Shiyue to the armored vehicle. Seizing the opportunity, Zhang Chen leaps into the air to attack. However, upon landing his strike, his sword flies from his hand because the zombie's skin is so thick. The zombie then turns around and prepares to unleash a sonic attack. As it does, Zhang Chen is slammed to the ground by the force. Fortunately, his enlightenment shield absorbs most of the impact, allowing him to survive. Xiao Xiu then drives up with the armored vehicle and tells him to get in quickly. Realizing he can't defeat the giant zombie, Zhang Chen grabs Erpang, jumps into the vehicle, and takes the wheel. Noticing their escape, the enraged giant zombie slams the ground, causing massive cracks to form. Eventually, the ground collapses, creating a hole into which the armored vehicle falls along with Zhang Chen and the others. As they fall, he wonders why the system didn't warn him about the giant zombie. Then it dawns on him that maybe the system wanted him to go underground. Thanks to the enlightenment shield wrapped around the armored vehicle, they land safely. Zhang Chen is immediately bombarded with system notifications informing him about the various types of monster eggs in the area. Seeing this, he realizes that they have fallen into a monster hatching nest. As he can't just leave this place and let the monsters hatch, Zhang Chen decides to burn it to the ground. He then begins pouring gasoline with Xiao Xiu, who is upset because she traded so many bows and arrows for it, only to see it go to waste. Zhang Chen explains that the area must be destroyed because if these monsters were to hatch, they'll become a massive threat in the future. Just then, the ground starts shaking again, and as they see the giant zombie falling through the hole above, Zhang Chen quickly instructs Xiao Xiu to get into the armored vehicle and prepare to drive away. As the giant zombie lands on the ground, it causes shockwaves, but fortunately, Xiao Xiu manages to escape in time and start the vehicle's engine, while swearing never to go out with Zhang Chen ever again. Meanwhile, the giant zombie begins attacking Zhang Chen, who dodges its strikes while spreading the remaining gasoline around the area. He then instructs Xiao Xiu to drive in an S-shaped motion to avoid the zombie's attacks. Following his orders, she drives in an S-shape, which not only helps her evade the giant zombie's strikes, but also distracts it for a while. Seizing the opportunity, Zhang Chen leaps into the armored vehicle. Before they leave, he throws the last gallon of gasoline directly at the giant zombie's face. He then pulls out a rocket launcher and fires, creating a massive explosion that engulfs the zombie and the nest in flames as they drive away. The system then awarded him a rank 2 treasure for successfully burning 11% of the Tianyang City monster breeding nest. He is shocked to learn that the enormous area he just destroyed was only a small portion of the nest. As they head toward the exit, they spot a strange-looking zombie. Taking a closer look, Zhang Chen realizes that it's a new type of mutant zombie. The system informs him that it's a venom breeder, a dangerous creature capable of spitting highly corrosive venom. Just then, it spits venom at the armored vehicle, melting the door. This shocks Jiang Chun, as he didn't expect the venom to be powerful enough to melt the armored vehicle. While he wonders what would have happened if it had hit him, Xiao Xiu urgently tells him to look ahead, as there's 2 more venom breeders spitting venom from the front, causing the vehicle's front to melt and producing smoke that blocks her vision. Realizing the vehicle won't last long, Jiang Chun quickly takes the wheel from her and drives straight into the venom breeders, running them over while breaking through the exit doors. After finally escaping, Jiang Chun and Xiao Xiu cry in joy, hugging each other and swearing never to enter such a dangerous place again, even if forced. However, they are not safe yet, as thousands of zombies are chasing after them, along with the giant zombie. Realizing that the zombies are catching up, Jiang Chun decides to change paths to avoid leading them to Tianyang City. As he accelerates and changes direction, a loud thud comes from above. Jiang Chun then peeks out the window and notices that a crawler has climbed onto the roof of the armored vehicle. Annoyed, Jiang Chun tells Xiao Xiu to be ready to drive at any moment while he deals with the zombies. Just then, a crawler tries to attack Xiao Xiu through the window, but before it can harm her, Jiang Chun quickly stabs it with his sword. While he's dealing with the crawler, Xiao Xiu suddenly screams in pain, indicating that her condition is worsening. Xiao Xiu then informs him that the virus hasn't been completely cleared from Xiao Xiu's body, and if she isn't cured soon, she will turn into a zombie. Since the road ahead is straight and empty, Jiang Chun uses his sword to stab the gas pedal, pinning it down so the vehicle moves forward on its own. He then tells Xiao Xiu to quickly treat Xiao Xiu while he handles the zombies. Following his command, she moves to the back seat and starts treating Xiao Xiu. Meanwhile, Jiang Chun takes out an AK and a rocket launcher and fires at the zombie horde, blasting them to bits while also collecting loot. As he eliminates more zombies and gathers energy cores, the system informs him that he needs about 400 more energy cores to reach Awakener rank 2. Ignoring that, he keeps firing at the zombies, gradually reducing their numbers and amassing a tremendous amount of loot. Just then, the giant zombie almost catches up with them. As Jiang Chun remembers that his attacks don't work on that giant zombie, he quickly comes up with a plan to get it off their trail. He then tells Xiao Xiu to take the wheel and drive toward the bridge. As she does, he fires rockets at the bridge, destroying it and trapping the giant zombie. Although Jiang Chun was certain his attack would be enough to kill the giant zombie, it somehow manages to survive. Fortunately, the collapsing bridge leaves it immobilized under a massive debris. Knowing it wouldn't be wise to engage in battle with it further, Jiang Chun seizes the opportunity to escape. Meanwhile, Zhang Hao regroups with his camp and instructs everyone to move faster as night approaches. He mentions hearing that Hong Da and his group have not shared the supplies they collected over the past few days. Jun Yu confirms this and adds that not only has Hong Da refused to share supplies, but he has also recruited a group of people and no longer follows orders. Realizing that Hong Da still holds a grudge against him for that day's incident, he tells Jun Yu to let Hong Da do whatever he wants, as he is still a valuable combat asset to the camp. Just then, Jiang Chun drives past them, shocking everyone as they wonder how someone managed to get an armored vehicle. Zhang Hao is also impressed and realizes it's the same guy they encountered before. Later, they arrive at the safe house, where Jiang Chun gently lays Xiao Xiu on the bed. While he isn't fatigued or tired thanks to his strong body trait that helps him recover quickly, the same can't be said for Xiao Xiu and Pang, who are completely exhausted to the point of resting on the ground. Noticing this, Jiang Chun thanks Xiao Xiu for helping him today and praises her for following his every command without error. This shocks her, as she doesn't expect to receive praise from Jiang Chun and becomes overly emotional, hugging his leg while expressing how glad she is that he finally acknowledges her. Since they've been through a lot together, Jiang Chun says that they are a family from now on. He tells her to rest near Xiao Xiu and call for him when she wakes up. He then goes to the living room and sits down on a couch, opening the system to check the loot he gained from eliminating so many zombies. As it's his first time receiving a rank 2 chest, he decides to open it first to see what's inside. Upon opening it, the system congratulates him on receiving 30 outdoor tents, 30 sleeping bags, 10 outdoor lighting equipment, 5 night vision devices, a 100x zoom telescope, 1 talent crystal, a novice rank energy armor, and advanced rank pet food. The system then analyzes the unique items and informs him that breaking the talent crystal will grant him an additional talent, and all his other talents will level up by 1. Moving on, he can integrate the novice rank energy armor with his enlightenment shield skill to reduce all kinds of damage by 25%. Finally, the advanced rank pet food, which will accelerate the growth of his pet before it reaches adulthood. As he breaks the talent crystal, the system congratulates him for gaining an additional talent and increases the level of his other talents by 1. It then presents him with 4 skills and instructs him to select 2 out of the 4 to obtain. Since he primarily uses a sword in close combat, he chooses Focus Strike, which emits an energy ray from his hand that can destroy enemies and grows stronger as he levels up. For his second choice, he selects Fury, which greatly increases his attributes for a short period while reducing the damage he takes. He then confirms the selection, causing a red and blue aura to circulate through his body as the system congratulates him for his choices. Once the process is complete, he feels both cold and hot at the same time. Noticing blue and red flames on his wrists, he realizes they are the effects of his new ability, Focused Strike. Exhausted from the day's events, he falls asleep on the couch. The next morning, Zhang Chen wakes to the delicious smell of steak. As he wonders where it's coming from, Xiao Xiu, now completely healed, greets him with a cheerful good morning. While he asks if she's feeling all right or experiencing any lingering effects, he can't help but admire how beautiful she is, even prettier than when he first saw her through the game's chat system. She thanks him for saving her and pledges her life to him. However, Zhang Chen tells her not to, explaining that if she hadn't given him the adrenaline injection that day, he wouldn't have survived to save her, so they are even. Meanwhile, Xiao Xiu grows annoyed as the food is getting cold. She tells them to stop chatting and just hand over the potato. Confused, Zhang Chen looks more closely at the food and realizes it's not actually steak, but the meat potatoes they harvested yesterday. He then praises Xiao Xiu's cooking skills, saying it's so good that he mistook the meat potato for steak. She humbly explains that she started learning to cook at a young age, which is why she's so skilled. She adds that if he likes it that much, she'll cook for him every day. Just then, Xiao Xiu tells them to look out the window, saying there's a giant zombie outside. Alarmed, Zhang Chen quickly looks at the window, but there's no zombie. Xiao Xiu actually lied to distract him so she could grab the first piece of meat potato. Catching on to her trick, Zhang Chen swiftly pulls his sword from the inventory and slices her fork in half, sending the meat potato tumbling back onto his plate. He declares that Xiao Xiu's first cooked meal must be eaten by him, with no room for negotiation. Xiao Xiu then strikes the plate from underneath, sending the remaining meat potatoes flying. As she reaches for them, Zhang Chen blocks her, and the two start fighting. Xiao Xiu tries to calm them down, offering to cook another plate. However, while they're distracted, Erpeng jumps in, grabs the meat potatoes in his mouth, and runs off as Zhang Chen and Xiao Xiu yell at him for betraying them. Later, as they plant more meat potato crops and use mutant fertilizer to speed up their growth, Xiao Xiu informs Zhang Chen that she has used up all the fertilizer. She asks if he has more, to which he replies that he doesn't have any left, so they'll need to go out and collect more later. Xiao Xiu then also finishes planting, and feels so blissful to be alive that she hopes she can live peacefully like this forever. Zhang Chen reassures her, telling her not to worry because he's strong enough to protect everyone here and the peaceful environment they've created. Relieved, she thanks him, and recalls that she has some skill books and a diary she forgot to give him. Although Zhang Chen knows what a skill book is, he asks what's special about the diary. Xiao Xiu explains that she found it in the area where she was trapped. She then hands him all the skill books. The first is a general driving skill book, which allows him to skillfully drive any vehicle, even without prior knowledge. The second is Sharpshooter, which increases his shooting accuracy. The third is Material Collection, granting him the ability to extract raw materials directly from any machine or vehicles. Lastly, there's the Basic Mechanical Maintenance and Enhancement skill book, which helps him repair mechanical items as well as enhance and modify them. Zhang Chen is genuinely happy to receive these skills, especially since he's been wondering how to fix the armored vehicle damaged by the Venom Breeder. With these skills, he can now repair it. After learning all the skills, he asks the system about the diary. The system informs him that the diary was written by a pre-apocalypse bunker researcher. As he begins reading the diary, he learns that on August 12, 2012, an unknown virus spreads throughout a city, infecting many people. Those infected later turned into zombies and began attacking humans, turning them into zombies as well. As the situation spirals out of control, the military deploys troops to eliminate the infected within the city. After eradicating most of the zombies, the city is placed under a 24-hour curfew, with orders to eliminate anyone seen outside on sight. Fast forward to September 29th. Zombies are no longer the most dangerous threat. The increasing number of zombies mutated the environment, giving rise to new creatures such as mutant insects and plants. These become humanity's worst nightmare, as no matter how many times they are killed, they regenerate and rise from underground. Even the army troops enforcing the curfew are completely wiped out. Realizing their weapons are useless against these mutant creatures, the remaining survivors and soldiers retreat to advanced underground bunkers for safety. By October 12th, the diary's author witnessed a soldier taking his own life in despair. This event pushes the author to the brink, and he begins contemplating leaving the bunker. Overhearing that there are 3 fully armed mechs in the bunker's armory, he and a group of survivors devise a plan to steal the mechs and fight their way out of the city. Fast forward to November 7th. Before they could even proceed with their plan, the bunker is attacked by the mutant insects. The assault happens so quickly that the soldiers didn't even have time to reach the mechas. All the author could do is listen to the agonized screams of everyone around him as they are slaughtered and wait for his turn. Before his death, he declares this to be what he believes is the end of the world. Zhang Chen is shocked to learn the origin of zombies. More importantly, judging by the events detailed in the diary, there might still be armed mechas left in the bunker. Later, after repairing the armored vehicle, Zhang Chen tasks Xiao Xiu with driving it around the city to eliminate as many zombies as possible. She happily accepts the task, and since he can always repair the vehicle, Xiao Xiu decides to experiment a bit to see how many zombies she can run over. Pong also eliminates zombies following Zhang Chen's commands and has grown much stronger. Meanwhile, after wiping out a horde of zombies, Zhang Chen climbs on the top of a building. From there, he spots the last big group of zombies, just enough for him to level up. He then jumps from the building and lands with such force that it destroys the ground. As the zombie horde notices him and rushes toward him, Zhao Shi Yue, who is in a nearby building, peeks out of a window and fires a rocket launcher at the horde. Xiao Shi then also assists by firing submachine guns with both hands. Wearing sunglasses, she remarks on how cool she looks, calling herself a zombie terminator. Their combined firepower causes a huge explosion, eradicating most of the zombies. With many still left, Erpang arrives to help, eliminating more zombies on his way. Now that only a few remain, Zhang Chen decides to test out his new skill, Focus Strike. As he points his hand at the zombies group, a red beam shoots out, eradicating all of them. However, the attack burns his hand, causing immense pain. He decides to use this skill only as a trump card for now. Afterward, Zhang Chen collects the loot and tells Xiao Shi to stop using the armored vehicle, as repairing it costs too many energy cores. By the time he finishes collecting loot in this area, he has amassed 723 energy cores, 1,020 clean clothes, and 1,140 units of mutant fertilizer. Now that he has more than enough energy cores to level up, the system prompts him, asking if he would like to level up. He selects yes and successfully advances to Novice Rank 2 Awakener. As the system congratulates him, it rewards him with 4 talent points and informs him that he will need 6,000 energy cores to reach the next level. He then notices his skill Focus Strike behaving strangely and recalls that the system mentioned it would grow stronger as he levels up. Moving on, he uses some of his talent points to acquire the Civet Reflex ability, which increases his dodge and jump abilities by 150% and boosts the output of non-special items by 60%. He decides to try out his ability and starts jumping from place to place. He moves so fast that when he jumps near Xiao Shi, she thinks he is teleporting. She even asks him how he's doing it, to which he replies that he isn't teleporting. Instead, it's his new ability that allows him to move faster. Setting that aside, he asks her how many more energy cores she needs to level up. She informs that her leveling progress hasn't increased at all. Confused and worried, he asks her what's wrong, as she has eliminated so many zombies that she should have leveled up by now. She reassures him that it's not a big deal, and changes the topic by pointing out that they haven't encountered a single crawler so far, suggesting that the crawlers seem to be hiding. Zhang Chen agrees, stating that it's not unusual for crawlers to hide in ambush, as their high IQ makes them a serious threat that needs to be eliminated. He decides to use his skill, Analyze Eye, which he obtained from Xiao Xiu. Thanks to his recent level up, the range of this skill has increased significantly. Using it, he quickly detects a group of crawlers hiding inside a building. Just then, Zhao Shiyue calls out to them, excitedly announcing that she has leveled up to the rank of an abnormally strong person and promises she won't hold the group back anymore. Hearing this good news, Zhang Chun becomes so excited that he can't wait any longer and decides to immediately start eliminating all the crawlers in the city. Later, at the building where Zhang Chun has spotted the group of crawlers using his analyze skill, the crawlers hide inside a room while waiting to ambush anyone who enters. Suddenly, one of them is attacked and thrown into the room, drawing the attention of all the crawlers. Alarmed, they prepare to react, but before they can identify the attacker, a rocket is fired into the room, causing a massive explosion that eliminates most of them. Zhang Chun then enters the room through the hole created by the explosion and notices the remaining crawlers fleeing. Determined not to let them escape, he quickly devises a plan to eliminate them and informs Xiao Xiu of his idea. He explains that he will drive all the crawlers into one spot, where she must shoot them down without hesitation or reluctance to use ammunition. Xiao Xiu accepts the task and begins preparing for the attack. Meanwhile, the other players use the system's chat to discuss the recent decrease in the number of zombies and wonder who is behind it. One player mentions hearing multiple explosions, which scared him so much that he didn't dare to check what was happening. Another player joins in, saying he managed to catch a glimpse of the people clearing out the zombies from a distance. He describes them as 3 individuals: a girl who looks like a zombie, another girl who seems like a flight attendant, and a guy with a sword whose firepower is incredibly strong. Another player reminds everyone that with the zombies in the city greatly reduced, the fight for resources will intensify. He asks if anyone wants to team up and requests they send him a private message. Then, Hongda joins the chat, announcing that the commercial area in the city has been reserved by their gymnasium camp. He warns everyone that anyone entering without permission will face ruthless consequences. Hearing this, a player mocks Hongda, calling their gymnasium camp a beggar camp, because his friends who joined it recently complained about the lack of food. He goes further, threatening that he doesn't care about their ruthless actions since he has connections with dangerous foreigners and plans to give their camp a shock in a few days. At this point, Zhang Hao also joins the chat and introduces himself as the leader of the gymnasium camp. He apologizes for Hongda's behavior, assuring everyone that their camp has no intention of monopolizing the resources in Qianyang City. The chat ends with Zhang Hao calming the situation, but Hongda is clearly unhappy with his approach. He confronts Zhang Hao, arguing that with the number of zombies reduced, this is the perfect opportunity to plunder resources. He insists that if they are not going to rely on their combat abilities to secure the city, there's no point in maintaining their camp. Zhang Hao explains that the reduced number of zombies is only temporary, as more are bound to enter the city soon. He also points out that their camp's combat abilities are weak, which is why they can't afford to make too many enemies. However, Hongda refuses to listen, insisting that their greatest risk right now is the lack of resources. He declares that he will take matters into his own hands and lead a group to seal off the commercial area, with or without Zhang Hao's approval. Zhang Hao tries to stop him, asking why he's acting this way and disobeying orders when they used to be close friends. Hongda responds by blaming him, saying their relationship has deteriorated because he refuses to listen to his friend's opinions. Hongda then gathers a group of players and commands them to follow him to the commercial area, declaring that they will seal it off the following night. As his group departs, leaving only a few skilled players behind, Zhang Hao realizes that with the zombies gone, humans are becoming the new disaster. Meanwhile, at the safe house, Zhang Chun and Xiao Xiu are having dinner prepared by Zhao Shiyue. As they marvel at the variety of dishes on the table, Zhao Shiyue brings out one last dish. Seeing this, Xiao Xi's eyes light up with excitement, and she praises Zhao Shiyue's cooking skills, amazed that she managed to create so many dishes with such limited ingredients. Not wanting to share the food, Xiao Xiu pulls several plates toward her and declares that they're all hers. Seeing her act so childishly, Zhang Chun sighs and asks why she's behaving like she hasn't eaten in ages. She responds that he wouldn't understand how hungry she was in her previous world, so desperate that she had to eat tree roots in the mountains. Zhang Chun then asks if her family was very poor before she came here. Xiao Xiu hesitantly answers yes, and quickly changes the subject by mentioning that while he was away, she and Zhao Shiyue held a live broadcast. They sold all the bows and arrows in one go and managed to trade for 30 barrels of gasoline. It is then revealed that Xiao Xiu changes the subject because she isn't from another world like the other players. She's actually someone from this world, which is why she can't level up despite eliminating so many zombies. Moving on, Zhang Chun announces that since there's nothing more to do here, they'll set out for the bunker tomorrow. Worried, Zhao Shiyue asks why they're heading to the bunker. Zhang Chun explains that there aren't enough zombies left in the city for them to level up. This makes it the perfect time to go there. At the bunker, they'll not only find more crawlers and zombies to help them level up, but also get access to the armed mechas mentioned in the diary. Later, before heading to the bunker, Zhang Chun decides to make Erpang stronger so it can guard their home while they are away. He then takes out the advanced rank pet food he received from the rank 2 chest. However, it looks so disgusting that Xiao Xi and Zhao Shiyue can't help but ask if this blob, which looks like a poisonous chemical, is really advanced rank pet food. Zhang Chun assures them that despite its appearance, it is completely safe. He then begins persuading Erpang, explaining that he has no ill intentions, and while it is high-quality pet food, he advises that it would be better to eat it in one gulp. Although Zhang Chun doesn't sound very convincing, Erpang has no other choice and swallows the pet food in one go. It then immediately takes effect as Erpang's eyes turn red and black smoke starts emitting from the wolf's body. Seeing this, Zhang Chun is pleased with the rapid results. However, Xiao Xi quickly alerts him that the black smoke is poisonous, which becomes evident when Zhao Shiyue's hand gets burned upon contact with it. Worried, Zhang Chun asks Zhao Shiyue if she's okay, and immediately instructs Xiao Xi to heal her wound. Despite the dangerous side effect, he is amazed by the pet food's potency. The fact that even the smoke alone is capable of harming an abnormally strong ranked player fascinates him, and he wonders just how much stronger Erpang has become. As the smoke clears, everyone is shocked to see that not only has Erpang grown significantly larger, but there are now 3 identical wolves. Zhang Chun quickly uses the system to analyze Erpang's stats, and learns that in addition to its skill-multiplied battler, which increases the wolf's size, strength, and speed during battle mode, it has gained a new skill, Call of the Wind. This skill allows it to summon 2 moonwolves to aid in battle, and they will disappear once the fight is over. While Xiao Xi is amazed by the transformation, Zhang Chun is not entirely surprised. After all, Erpang is an S-rank battle pet. He then instructs the wolf to protect the island in his absence by ensuring no living creature sets foot there, and to obey Zhao Shiyue's every command. As Erpang accepts the task with a soft woof, Xiao Xi comments that while its size has changed, its loyal mannerisms toward its master remain the same. With that settled, Zhang Chun tells Xiao Xi to quickly pack up the necessary resources, as they are heading to the bunker immediately. Meanwhile, in the commercial area, Hong Da and his group successfully infiltrate the area and begin eliminating other players while plundering their resources. The leader of the group being attacked confronts Hong Da, asking if this was his plan all along, to lure them here under the pretense of cooperating to search for resources, only to backstab them once the search is complete. Hong Da sadistically affirms and coldly says that they shouldn't blame him, as all of this was ordered by his boss, Zhang Hao, and there's nothing he can do. The leader then asks if Hong Da isn't afraid of the consequences, warning that such actions will turn their group into public enemies. Hong Da replies that he dislikes doing this too, but since it's the boss's order, he has no choice. However, since there aren't many witnesses here, he offers to let them go if they leave behind their storage rings, which will allow him to report their deaths to Zhang Hao. The leader hesitates but eventually asks if Hong Da is really going to let them live. Hong Da assures him that he will, on the condition that they spread the story that Zhang Hao ordered the ambush but leave out his name. The leader accepts the deal, and without hesitation, he quickly hands over the rings before fleeing with his group. The real reason Hong Da let them go is so they can spread the false story he fabricated about Zhang Hao ordering the ambush. As the lies spread, they will ruin Zhang Hao's reputation, which is precisely what Hong Da has wanted ever since the day Zhang Hao attacked him. On a distant rooftop, 2 people in suits were watching the scene unfold and waiting for the group to let their guard down. The moment it happens, one of them raises a sniper rifle, takes aim at Hong Da, and pulls the trigger. The shot hits its mark, sending Hong Da flying while his friends are left shocked by the sudden attack. Later, a player from Hong Da's group safely arrives at the gymnasium, and in a panic, he informs everyone that Hong Da has been shot and taken by a group of foreigners. Zhang Hao tells him to calm down and explain the situation clearly, to which the guy replies by lying that they were following Zhang Hao's instructions and searching for resources in the commercial area without provoking anyone. However, they were suddenly attacked by a group of foreigners who wiped out their entire group using guns. Zhen Yu then asks him how he managed to escape and if there are any survivors left. The guy informs her that aside from him and Hong Da, everyone else is dead, and he didn't escape. The foreigners let him go so he could deliver the list of resources to Zhang Hao. They warn that if the resources on the list aren't delivered to the designated location by tonight, they will kill Hong Da and bring a large group to attack the camp. Zhen Yu reads the list and is shocked to see that the foreigners are demanding more than half of the camp's entire resources. Although she doesn't read the list out loud, the other players start to panic. Especially after learning that the foreigners have guns, they begin considering whether they should leave the camp altogether. Zhang Hao reassures them, saying everything will be fine. He points out that this city is a gathering area for the Chinese players, so the foreigners are likely bluffing and won't dare to cause trouble here. With that settled, he also reads the list and finds the demands not as harsh as they could have been, considering the foreigners have guns. He notes that although Hong Da's group lost some resources, they can always gather more. However, what worries him most is the possibility that the foreigners will eliminate them, even after receiving the supplies. Worried, Zhen Yu asks him if he is truly planning to hand over the resources, despite the potential for betrayal. Zhang Hao tells her not to worry, as he has another plan to rescue Hong Da. Meanwhile, Zhang Chen and Xiao Xiu arrive at the bunker's location, where they find a cave. Since the area inside is too large, they decide to split up to locate the mechas faster. Upon entering the cave, Xiao Xiu is shocked to see an enormous nest occupying nearly the entire space. Its sheer size leaves her confused about how to find the bunker's entrance or the mechas. As she shouts to Zhang Chen, saying she's trying her best to find the mechas and for him to call out if he finds them, something suddenly falls near her, startling her. When she looks closely, she realizes it's a venom breeder, which terrifies her at first. However, she quickly remembers that they only attack her when she's with other humans, and usually leave her alone due to her unique trait. This realization annoys her, and on a whim, she asks the creature if it knows where the armed mechas are. As expected, it doesn't respond and simply stares at her. But after a brief pause, the creature shakes its head, possibly signaling that it doesn't know the location of the mechas. This surprises Xiao Xiu, as she only asked on a whim and didn't expect it to understand her. Thinking it might be a fluke, she decides to test it further. She then commands the venom breeder to get out of her way. To her surprise, it actually obeys and starts walking away, proving it wasn't a coincidence. As this is the first time she manages to communicate with a creature, she wonders if she has leveled up without realizing it and unlocked some kind of secret skill. She then quickly stops the venom breeder and describes the appearance of the mechas, asking if it has seen any. This time, the creature seems to understand what she means and points to the ground, indicating that the mechas are underground. Meanwhile, Zhang Chen is battling a giant zombie and is struggling to defeat it despite using his skills, Enlightenment Shield, and Fury. The monster's attacks are so powerful that the 35% damage reduction barely helps block them. He also avoids using his Focus Strike skill, knowing that a wrong move could collapse the entire cave, a risk he can't take since Xiao Xiu is still searching for the mechas. For now, he has to somehow hold on until she finds them. Just then, the giant zombie launches a double hammer fist attack, but Zhang Chen swiftly dodges it using his Civet Reflex skill. Meanwhile, Xiao Xiu reaches an underground area and begins searching for the mechas, and after a while, she finally locates them. However, among the 4 mechas, 3 appear to be disassembled spare parts, and only 1 is intact, though it's partially damaged. She then contacts Zhang Chen through the chat system and suggests that they should give up and leave the area. Confused, Zhang Chen asks her why, and she explains that although she found the mechas, all of them are broken. To make matters worse, 5 giant zombies are patrolling the area, making it too dangerous to continue. Zhang Chen then turns on the video chat and notices that one of the mechas is somewhat intact and could be repaired using the skill he got from Zhao Shiyue. Xiao Xiu notices his injuries and asks what happened, to which he replies that he was attacked by a giant zombie. This strengthens her resolve to retreat, arguing that if he's injured by just 1 giant zombie, facing 5 more would be suicidal. Zhang Chen insists they must take the risk, explaining that the mecha will be invaluable in the future. He then informs her that he is setting up explosives to lure the giant zombies away and instructs her to be ready to fight at any moment. Xiao Xiu yells out in frustration at Zhang Chun's recklessness, forgetting that the giant zombies are nearby. But before the zombies can spot her, the explosives Zhang Chun set up detonate, drawing all the zombies' attention as they rush toward the fire. Suddenly, Zhang Chun jumps down near Xiao Xiu, startling her. She then asks him if the explosions were his doing, despite knowing that the cave could collapse because of this. He replies affirmatively and assures her that the cave won't collapse since he planted the explosives carefully. Despite his explanation, she remains unconvinced and suggests they give up and leave. However, Zhang Chun refuses to return without the mecha and instructs her to use her corpse fog skill to surround the area. Since repairing the mecha will take a long time and the fire won't distract the giant zombies for much longer, they will return soon. Zhang Chun then uses his material collection skill to scavenge parts from the broken mechas and begins repairing the intact one, which has already consumed 10 energy cores despite showing 0 progress. As Xiao Xiu activates her corpse fog to cover the area, Zhang Chun holds her hand and transfers 100 grenades he collected recently. He instructs her to use them to lure the zombies when they arrive. The idea of luring so many giant zombies by herself terrifies Xiao Xiu, and she cries out, saying she doesn't want to die. Zhang Chun sighs and tells her to believe in herself, reminding her that this is only the first stage of the game and that the challenges will become much harder in later stages. So they just have to get used to facing dangers like this, and if they can get this mecha out of here, it will greatly improve their chances of survival in the future. Just then, the group of giant zombies returns, and Xiao Xiu quickly finishes surrounding the area in corpse fog before rushing toward them. Although she has accepted the task, she makes Zhang Chun promise to save her as soon as the mecha is repaired. Zhang Chun reassures her, vowing to save her even if the repairs aren't complete, as they are partners in this. After Xiao Xiu leaves to distract the zombies, Zhang Chun notices that the repairs have progressed to 3%, but have already consumed 57 energy cores. He realizes how quickly the materials and energy cores are depleting and wonders how much progress is needed before the mecha becomes operational. Meanwhile, Xiao Xiu yells at the giant zombies to grab their attention. She then fires a rocket launcher at them and runs in the opposite direction from Zhang Chun, luring the horde away. The zombies quickly close the distance and attack her, but she manages to dodge their every strike. She then throws grenades at them, trying to slow them down. A few moments later, after exhausting all her ammunition and grenades, Xiao Xiu uses corpse fog directly on the zombies to slow them down. However, she is extremely exhausted, and with no signal from Zhang Chun, it means the repairs aren't finished yet. Knowing she can't ask for his help, she decides to stall the zombies for as long as possible, even if it means risking her life. As she uses her corpse fog skill again, she suddenly hears something coming out of the cave at a very high speed. It turns out to be Zhang Chun operating the mecha. Taking a closer look, she realizes the mecha isn't completely repaired. Because of the corpse fog, Zhang Chun has a hard time seeing his surroundings, but thankfully, he spots Xiao Xiu just before she is about to be attacked and rushes through the zombies to reach her. He then lands near her and explains that due to a lack of materials, he wasn't able to fully repair the mecha, which is why it can only fly for now. Since it won't be of much help in fighting the zombies, he instructs her to drive it home while he lures the zombies away. Zhang Chun then gets out of the mecha and rushes toward the giant zombies, shouting back to Xiao Xiu to be careful driving the mecha, as it might be the last one left in the world. He then attacks the giant zombies to distract them, while Xiao Xiu gets inside the mecha, promising him that she will not let it get destroyed since they risked their lives obtaining it. Just then, a giant zombie tries to attack the mecha, but thankfully Zhang Chun stops it and counters with Focus Strike. This gives Xiao Xiu enough time to start the mecha, and she quickly manages to fly away. Zhang Chun feels relieved that the mecha is safely out of danger. With that settled, he no longer worries about the cave collapsing and decides not to hold back anymore. He then unleashes a full-power Focus Strike, attacking all the giant zombies at once. Meanwhile, Zhen Yu arrives near Zhang Chun's base and starts throwing rocks to get his and the other players' attention, hoping they will help her deal with the foreigners. Hearing the commotion, Pang, who was left to protect the island, notices Zhen Yu and mistakes her rock throwing as an attack. He then rushes to attack her, but she easily dodges by jumping inside a building. She wonders what that thing is, and why Zhang Chun is keeping a monster in his house. Pang then follows Zhen Yu into the building, shocking her as she doesn't expect the wolf to be so fast and quickly realizes how dangerous it is. But since she cannot afford to fail Zhang Hao's plan, she decides to lure the monster toward the foreigners. However, things do not go as smoothly as she hopes, as Pang moves incredibly fast and immediately attacks her. Meanwhile, Hong Da is hanging with his hands tied to the ceiling, while a blonde-haired man in a brown suit sits nearby. This man is the leader of the foreign group, waiting for the gymnasium camp to fulfill his demands. However, as the deadline has already passed and no one has brought the requested resources, he realizes his demands won't be met, so he orders his subordinate to eliminate the captive. Following the order, a man wearing glasses begins dousing Hong Da with gasoline. Hong Da, drenched and helpless, believes Zhang Hao has abandoned him and was using him all along. The man with the glasses then pulls out a lighter, and while joking about how life is like fire and he's helping to light it up, ignites it. Watching the fire creep closer terrifies Hong Da. But just then, the man stops and puts out the flames after hearing the sound of heavy footsteps approaching from behind, which grabs everyone's attention. All of them turn to look and see the silhouette of a figure. It's Zhang Hao. As someone managed to infiltrate without their knowledge, the boss angrily demands to know where the guards are and who let the person in. One of his subordinates replies that he just contacted the guards, but there's no response, which likely means they're all dead. Hearing this, the boss orders his men to surround the intruder. Following his command, they draw their guns and point them at Zhang Hao. Zhang Hao then calmly tosses a storage ring onto the floor and informs them it contains all the supplies they demanded. Now that they have what they wanted, Zhang Hao tells them to release Hong Da. The boss smirks and replies that he's unhappy that Zhang Hao sneaked up on them, which is why he intends to take the supplies along with him in his friend's life. Zhang Hao then mocks him, saying that he heard Westerners were known for honoring contracts, but apparently that's not true. The boss retorts that instead of being contract-abiding, they prefer to leave no loose ends. Realizing the situation has escalated, Zhang Hao suddenly rips open his shirt, revealing enough explosives to take down the entire building. Seeing this, the boss immediately changes his tone and orders his subordinates to release Hong Da. The boss is frustrated about having to let Zhang Hao and Hong Da go, so he orders his subordinate to send a few people ahead to eliminate them. Once they leave the building, Zhang Hao quickly starts running. Hong Da asks him why he's in such a rush when they've already escaped, warning that his wounds will tear open from the strain. Zhang Hao reveals that the bombs in his body are fake. Shocked, Hong Da angrily asks if Zhang Hao was playing with his life by acting so arrogantly in front of the foreigners. Zhang Hao ignores him and wonders if Zhen Yu has failed, as she hasn't arrived with the other person. Thankfully, he anticipated this possibility and set up an ambush ahead. Before they can reach it, the foreign group catches up with them and demands to know why they started running. Frustrated that they're about to be caught again, Hong Da blames Zhang Hao, arguing that if he hadn't set up an ambush and had instead brought the camp members with him, none of this would have happened. Zhang Hao explains that it wouldn't have been wise to risk the camp members' lives. Hearing this, Hong Da grows even angrier, accusing Zhang Hao of coming here not to save him, but just to play the hero. Seeing them at odds with each other, the bald guy decides to use the opportunity to turn them against one another by offering to let one of them go if they remove the explosives. However, before they can even think about it, Pang appears behind the bald guy. While Zhang Hao and Hong Da are shocked to see the wolf, the bald guy and his partner remain unfazed and asks Zhang Hao if the wolf has come to save them. Pang then menacingly barks at them, but they don't seem to grasp the seriousness of the situation. Instead, they start laughing and joking, saying they thought it might be some kind of monster, but that it turns out to be just a dog raised by the Chinese. At that moment, Zhen Yu calls out to Zhang Hao from a building's window, telling him to quickly run away. Although Zhang Hao is confused by the situation, he takes the chance to escape, throwing a smoke grenade that instantly engulfs the area in thick smoke. Realizing their targets are fleeing, the bald guy quickly orders his partner to chase after them. Just then, he notices black smoke emerging from Pang. The smoke takes the shape of a wolf and rushes toward him. In a panic, he fires at the smoke to stop it, but Pang charges through and attacks him. Meanwhile, the boss of the foreigner group grows furious as an hour has passed without his men returning. He wonders how incompetent they must be to fail to catch someone carrying an injured person. At that moment, Pang enters their base with the bald guy's sniper rifle in its mouth. One of the men wonders aloud what the monster is, but the boss immediately recognizes the sniper rifle and realizes why his subordinates haven't returned. He then quickly informs his men that this is a war pet and orders them to start shooting immediately. Following his command, everyone opens fire on Pang, who leaps to dodge their attacks and lands with such force that they are sent flying. It then starts attacking them mid-air, effortlessly eliminating them one by one. Realizing they cannot defeat the beast, the boss decides to flee and orders his subordinates to retreat. However, Pang has no intention of letting them escape. It then uses its skill Call of the Wind to summon 2 additional wolves, which immediately begin attacking the foreigners before they could even escape. Meanwhile, after reaching a safe distance, Hongda tells Zhang Hao that he can now go back on his own and thanks him for saving his life. Zhang Hao apologizes, explaining that he didn't bring more people to help because it was safer for the camp. In response, Hongda walks away, clicking his tongue and sarcastically saying he understands the grand plan to save everyone. This rude behavior angers Zhen Yu, who tries to stop him, but Zhang Hao holds her back, urging her to calm down. She then yells that it would have been better if they hadn't saved him at all. Ignoring her, Hongda continues walking, thinking that Zhang Hao only saved him to use him in the future. Determined, he plans to level up quickly and become an awakener to replace Zhang Hao. Meanwhile, a tank and 2 trucks filled with armed mercenaries enter Tangyang City. After getting inside, they stop, and the tank's door opens, revealing a bald man who orders the mercenaries to get off the trucks and eliminate everyone they see in the city. He declares it's for the sake of his brother, who was the leader of the foreigner group killed by Pang. He then instructs the mercenaries to split into 2 groups. The first group is tasked with placing fake treasure chests around the city in locations with a wide field of view to lure people in, making them easier to ambush. The second group is ordered to prepare an ambush specifically for the war pet that he learned about from his brother in his final moments. At the same time, Hongda is hiding nearby and witnesses the entire scene. Shocked by the sight of armed mercenaries and a tank, Hongda realizes that the city is doomed. Just then, they hear something flying over them, and as they look up, they spot a mecha. This shocks them even more, as they never expected to see a mecha in this city. Their boss also has the same thought and quickly tells everyone to hide. Meanwhile, as Xiao Xiu pilots the mecha back to the base after parting with Zhang Chun, she notices the foreign mercenaries and wonders what they're doing in this city. However, when she sees them running with weapons in hand, she quickly realizes they came with bad intentions. So she decides to scare them off, and although she would have attacked them outright, she refrains because the mecha is currently only capable of flying, and she promised Zhang Chun not to let it get damaged. She lowers the mecha and flies near them to make it appear as though she's chasing them, successfully scaring the mercenaries, who scramble back into their trucks in panic and flee the city. Satisfied with the result, Xiao Xiu decides to head back to the base while Hongda hides, doing his best not to be seen by the mecha. As the mecha leaves, he can't help but feel amazed by the crushing victory he just witnessed. The gap in power is so vast that even if he had every weapon imaginable, he knows it would still be impossible to defeat the mecha. This realization makes him understand that the strong always slaughter the weak, and he becomes determined to grow stronger. He then notices the foreigners' fake treasure chest, which they forgot to take. Since no one is guarding it, Hongda decides to check it out. Even though it's fake, it might still contain valuable resources. After carefully looking around and confirming the area is completely empty, he emerges from the bush and opens the chest. Inside, he finds an intermediate rank physique enhancement potion and a gun, far more than he expected. With these resources in hand, he vows to become an awakener sooner than Zhang Hao and return to the camp as a king. Meanwhile, Pang returns to the safe base with many storage rings and a sniper rifle, surprising Zhao Shiyue, who praises the wolf for doing a great job. Shortly after, Xiao Xiu arrives with the mecha, surprising Zhao Shiyue even more, as this means Zhang Chun has succeeded in securing it. Later, Xiao Xiu explains to Zhang Chun that she scared away some foreigners who may have come to take revenge on Pang. She concluded this after checking the loot Pang brought back, which seems to belong to the foreigners. Hearing this, Zhang Chun sighs in relief and praises her, saying she might have accidentally saved the whole city. However, Xiao Xiu points out that she only scared them off, and now that there's no mecha chasing them, they might return, or worse, they might already be in the city. Zhao Shiyue then asks what they should do next. Xiao Xiu suggests leaving the city, as the foreigners have a large number of people and tanks. She worries that the rocket launchers won't be enough to stop them, especially since Zhang Chun is injured from fighting the giant zombies. However, Zhang Chun refuses to give up the place they worked so hard for, and instructs them to go to the city, find the foreigners, and avoid confronting them directly. Instead, he tells them to ambush the foreigners using the sniper rifle Pang brought. He also promises to join them soon. Worried Zhao Shiyue argues that what Zhang Chun needs right now is rest and recovery, warning that taking any more risks will only lead him to his death. Zhang Chun assures her that he'll be fine, as he already has a plan to deal with the foreigners. Although he would prefer to use the mecha, repairing it fully requires 10,000 energy cores, which he doesn't have at the moment. On top of that, due to the next phase starting soon, the ranks of zombies have temporarily dropped significantly, and they rarely drop energy cores anymore. For now, the only way to obtain energy cores is by defeating elite crawlers or stealing them from other players. Nevertheless, Zhang Chun is confident that his current plan is enough to deal with the foreigners and doesn't require the mecha for now.